Ooh! What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus. And I'm scared.
And this is The Nerdy.
The Wordy.
The Book Club. We are back for a second inning of the Cosmere.
Yeah.
Stormlight Archive. Way of Kings.
Yeah.
Book 1.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any more the title.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It do be what it do be do.
Doobie-doo.
Blue. Thank you for joining the Nargs of the Nerd Table. Thank you for being a many month Narg, for being the executive producer of the show. And Johnny Coleman, thank you for a super chat.
Thank you.
And that cute little corgi saying, how's it going?
How's it going, chat? How are we? What's up, friends?
How you doing, y'all?
Yeah.
God, this book sucks, eh?
Wow. How are we feeling? Don't listen to Nerdy. He's
wow,
just
Way of
being a
Kings
troll.
is terrible.
Being a troll.
Maybe
over
Brandon
here.
Sanderson's worst book.
Wow. Just trying to, piss people off. You're becoming the Fandom menace.
No, I'm not, because they know I'm joking. This book's great.
Yeah. If you're they only know you're joking if they're in our Discord.
No, I would never start off a book club with, wow, this shit was bad, if I actually meant it. I would try and,
Pretty sure you did that with Wheel of Time once.
that was, book 15.
Linus, welcome back to the Nerd Table. So excited to be on this journey. Oh, God, I hate that.
Oh, that's right. Thank you for the gifted membos. I forgot there's,
Yeah, no, with Linus, we're having a great time. And Arzu, thank you so much for 10 gifted memberships. You now can go listen to some chapter reactions.
Yeah, you can. Arzu, thank you for those gifted membos.
Yeah.
Linus, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm so excited to be on this journey, especially since you both seem to like it a lot. Yeah. It's nice to be back on a book that I feel like I'm, invested in starting the reading next week.
Yeah, that's 100% it. I was, genuinely disappointed when that last chapter was so short, because I just wanted more. I just was sat down in bed, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna keep reading for a bit, it's gonna be great, and then it was over, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, it's been a minute, right?
Yeah.
I think that weirdly, the number of books that I think I would really recommend that we've done on book club versus the ones I wouldn't is about even right now.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It leans a little bit more towards the recommends, partially just because of Aragon, but I already knew that I liked Aragon going into that, so I don't really count that because I read those books before.
That is fair, yeah.
But this is definitely a hard lean towards recommend right now. I think that the reading this week was excellent.
Yeah.
I thought that it was an improvement on part 1 in terms of direction and in terms of story and in terms of my interest in the characters.
Yeah.
And I think that it is one of those kinds of books that's growing on me as I'm now 400 pages in. And so I feel really good about where it's at,
yeah.
and I feel good about the future of it,
yeah.
and where it's going. So it's nice to be in that position and not sometimes, we are in the middle of a book and going fuck, I don't even want to talk about this on Friday.
We're like,
it's
how
happened.
how are we going to talk about this on Friday?
And it's just really nice to be in the position that we're in now. Judah Canizares, thank you for that super chat. School year finally out, can watch uninterrupted.
Hell yeah.
The only thing that'll interrupt you is ads if you're on Twitch, but on YouTube, no ads until, obviously, if you're watching this later, ads get put on after.
Yeah.
Nothing we can do about that.
True.
Blue.
There you go. 29 months. There it is.
29 months. Holy shit.
And 10 gifted memberships.
And 10 gifted membos. Holy crap. Look at those nards running in the woods.
Mad lad in this chat.
Thank you, Blue.
Damn.
And Methany. Oh, Sammy has gotten onto their keyboard once more.
Oh, no.
Gotta listen to the VOD later, but want to let you know that my cat grew a carapace and a couple of extra limbs in honor of book club. You kids behave.
Oh, God.
Methany, I would
Sounds terrifying.
I would
see a
protect
veterinarian.
Sammy because people will come for the gem hearts. So make sure that Sammy's safe.
That's true.
Those gem hearts are worth a lot of money though, so if you are in a pickle, you could kill your cat.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow. You
would you
heard
kill
it
a
here.
cat to pay off your student loans?
No.
Okay.
I would not. I'm not a fucking monster.
I would. It's one less demon in the world. Sweet and Savory, thank you for joining the Narcs of the Nerd Table.
You are terrible.
I'm allergic to cats. They are my, literal, the predator in my life. cats.
Oh my god.
And so, yeah, I would...
You thought Nerdy was the apex predator, but it is actually the house cat.
Nobody thinks I'm an apex predator.
You're a 6'4" white man.
Yeah. Who complains about Star Wars fire on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not fucking out here, like, doing shit. I don't like leaving my house, except to go to conventions where I dress up with my friends and talk about One Piece. Like, no one in the world is like, you know who's really dangerous to society? That guy who spends up to 20 hours a week in a room watching television for a living. Real dangerous
really
dude.
Dangerous. Honestly, it's the book club. It makes us dangerous. Smut Corner, we're out there corrupting the youths.
Oh, please. As if young people watch us.
No, we're too old for that.
We don't have that skibbity Riz.
I know Riz. The skibbity part, you lost me.
That's because you're old.
Yes, that is correct. I am about to peak. Once I'm 30 for a day, that's it.
Yeah.
I get one day.
I will have to find a new life. So if you like talking about the Way of Kings and you're a woman or a hot gay / bi man, hit me up. I need a new partner come August 27th.
Christ. Sweet and Saber, welcome back to the Nerd Table.
Yeah. All right. This podcast is brought to you by MissyMountainGaming.com. MissyMountainGaming.com is a website that sells polyhedric shapes carved from stone, silicone, glass, rock, other things. And you can use those to play the Stormlight Archive TTRPG when it comes out, right?
Hell yeah.
We will definitely be signing up for that Kickstarter. The Kickstarter goes up the week after Gen Con. I'm really hoping to play the game at Gen Con. I'm hoping I'll get a chance.
Spoiler.
Don't care. I want to play the TTRPG.
Okay.
I care about titties more than I care about spoilers.
Okay, that's fair.
And so, yeah, hopefully we'll be able to try the game when we're there. But... you guys could buy some dice for when you get the Stormlight Archive RPG.
You could.
You could over at MissyMountainGaming.com, and I can help you out there. I can get you 15% off using the coupon code nerdynightly15. That's nerdynightly15 for 15% off your order at MissyMountainGaming.com. They make the best dice, and we are good friends with them.
Hell
thanks, guys.
Johnny Coleman, thank you for that super chat. Well-read people are always dangerous. Mm-hmm. We're the most dangerous.
The Z-Run says, do not play, it's so full of spoilers. I hear you, like, I get that. But I feel like if I play a dumbass TTRPG game at a con, where we do, like, a one-shot that is not related to the books, I'm not really worried that the books are going to get spoiled for me.
I am.
You are?
Fuck yeah!
What could be spoiled?
Like, anything in the world? Like a character having powers, a character's relationship, a character's weapons. What happens to the world? What happens to the map? What happens to like the hierarchy of the world? What happens how people's like cultures affect the storyline?
You think that because the modules that they put into con games are like specifically written for cons. So you think they would write a module that spoils the books?
Yeah, because they assume that you are a fan of the books, and that's why you are playing the game.
See, I think that that's a bad way to make a game, though.
Well, it doesn't matter. That's how they're making it.
Like, I think that you would want to. I think that you would want the like Gen Con version of it to be an intro experience that doesn't assume that you've read the books.
Even the image is apparently major spoilers.
I've seen the image. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. People are like, this is a big spoiler. And I'm like,
yes, but
I see people in Shardplate and Parshendi, people fighting them.
Yes.
That's the book I'm reading.
But the problem is that the more you read the book, the more those things like make sense and then will spoil for you. Anyways, Fabu, thank you. Thank you, Fabu. Thank you for that super chat. Ironically, you only meet apex predators at geeky conventions as well.
That's fair.
Is that
a lot of predators? Joke? No, just a lot of predators at conventions.
I wouldn't have put Apex in there.
I honestly don't think that people under the age of 18 should be allowed to go to conventions.
They are unhinged.
No. It's because I don't think... No. The kids are fine. I think that it is not safe for them.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
All right, fine. I won't play the game. Jesus Christ. You guys are so fucking demanding. I'm married to one person here, not all of you.
Well, I'm telling you not to play the game.
Okay, and I will listen to my wife.
Yes, good. Good job.
Oh my god.
It's fine.
Okay, God.
Wife privileges come in handy.
So aggressive today, chat. So aggressive. All right. Clarus, we are about halfway through part 2 of Way of Kings.
Which is how far into the book?
I have no idea. How are you feeling about the story getting better when all of the women are pushed off page?
Yeah, that's not my favorite. Obviously, like, I don't like it when you phrase it like that. But it is unfortunate because, like, clearly the, like, I don't know. I guess the, like, war fighting stuff is what's interesting about it. There was a woman in this section.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What would you describe her personality as being?
Badass. Yeah.
Which woman are you talking about?
The one in the shard plate. In the flashback.
Oh, in the flashback. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I was like, because I thought you, because there were like 3 kind of like female roles that spoke, right? There was the woman that complained about going on the
walk.
The walk.
Yeah, right.
There was the Dalinar's scribe.
Oh, yeah, right.
And there was the one in the flashback.
Yeah, they were like, God, he needs to get married so that he just has a scribe again. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting to be like, part 2. You know the character that, that got 4 chapters in part 1 and maybe feels a little under-fleshed out and was the far less interesting part of the book at that point? Mm-hmm. Not bad, just less interesting than, like, Kaladin's going through it, and Shallan's like, but I want to learn. I want to be able to silver. Then part 2 is like, don't worry. She does not return for hundreds of pages. We barely introduced her, and then she is out of the book.
I'm honestly hoping that the reason for that is that it is a huge jump forward in time. Right? That there's stuff, like, the less interesting stuff happens off page, and we're going to come back.
See, the problem with that is I think that the most interesting stuff with her, for me, will be kind of those first lessons. Because the middle lessons aren't that interesting, but Jasna, like, the first couple of lessons, the basics that Jasna might teach her, are the things that I want to know about the world. And so skipping to the point where Shallan just knows them all, that just leaves me behind again.
Jasna seems like the kind of teacher, and maybe I'm wrong, here is a prediction, that Jasna is going to be the kind of teacher who makes Shallan basically, like, observe and take notes and doesn't have, like, actual, like, lessons. Like, is like you need to read these things, you need to take, a month or whatever it is, and you need to fill these gaps, and then we can start. And so, like, that's why I feel like there's going to be a jumping in point for us where the interesting stuff starts. But, like, I feel like going to school the first month is always a little bit like, I think learning how to learn is just as important as what you learn.
I don't care about that as much as I care about how does the relationship develop.
Okay, fair.
Between the 2 of them. I think that if we jump forward in time and they just have a vibe, I will be like, wait, but how did you develop the vibe? Like, what were the connecting points between this? So if it is a jump forward, I just hope it isn't so far that we skip over how these 2 women who do not have a good... Especially because I think the storytelling of it is going to be Shallan realizing that stealing from Jasna is a bad idea. But, like, what about their interactions changes Shallan's mind, right? And so if we just skip over that, I think that I will be missing the dynamic build between them.
That's totally fair. I would take a chapter or 2 that's kind of a, like, speed run almost. Of the, like, important points. And this is just a guess. But I just feel like Jasna's not going to, like, jump off the deep end with Shallan immediately.
No. And I'm not saying she's going to start explaining the world. I just mean more like, I find it really interesting to this point in the book, we're what, like 26 chapters in, 25 chapters in technically?
Kindle says I think we're like 33% through the book.
Right, but so we're 25 chapters in with the prelude, prologue, 3 interludes, and 20 chapters. 4 of them have been about a woman.
Right.
And 21 of them have been about a variety of men.
And their stuff is the more interesting stuff. So yeah. I am hopeful that the women in this book have a moment to shine. You know, they get something. Samantha, thank you for that super chat. Happy to catch this episode live. Love the series, but my eyes glossed over many technical bits during my first read. That's fair. You guys are already doing better at keeping up with Cosmere magic than I did.
It's because we're doing it back to back to back to back to back, I think. It's just, like, all in us at the same time.
Yeah, and I think that, like, I feel like, we're, like, in the zone. And also, in a weird way, I think that the splits actually help with that a little bit. Because we sit down on Friday.
I'll be happy to hear that.
We sit down on Friday, and we kind of, like, hash stuff out. And so certain things become a little clearer, I think, as opposed to, like, powering through. And I think that both ways of reading have their merits. And
especially stuff
cons,
that, like,
right?
one of us gets wrong, but the other can be like, no.
Which happens sometimes. Like,
sometimes. I think we correct each other a lot.
We're like, wait, no, 2-1 is black.
Yeah, like that. Like that famous moment where I missed that 2-1 was black.
It's fine. We forgive you.
Queen of the Slaves. The Wheel of Time. What a series.
A good thing that you're cute.
St. Alred, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you. Welcome on in.
In case you missed it, but House Atreides is from Kaladin. I believe you've been doomed.
Fuck off. We've been doomed.
Thank you for that, St. Alred.
Every time.
Lisan al-Gaib.
It all comes back to Doom.
Yeah, I do, you know, we're 33% of the way through the book, and I really, really, really enjoyed the reading, and I want to compliment the shit out of the book. I did want to start...
wanted to make a joke first.
Well, I wanted to make a joke, but I also wanted to kind of point out, like, I find there to be a pretty stark gender disparity in this book that is written in by the whole, like, women have these things they are good at and men do these things.
And it is super interesting that they believe that the highest calling for the Almighty is being a soldier, and there are no female soldiers.
Yeah.
So basically, women cannot be as good or as respected by God.
Yes.
Which is fascinating.
And so the book just has a big gender disparity in it. And
which I believe is purposeful, but...
Sure, I just find it interesting that in writing the gender disparity in the culture, we don't spend nearly as much time with female characters that aren't sort of empty shell female characters that are just sort of there to be in the scene with a man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially because, like, not Yasna, but the other J name, Yanala, I think.
Oh, we should be walking.
Yeah, like, I was like, oh, is this just, like, meant to be, like, kind of annoying? Like, I was like, that's unfortunate.
Well, she didn't bring much to the scene. The scribe kind of did, but not really. But even in the flashback, the woman is the, like, Robin to the Batman of the other guy in Shardplate, and he's, like, giving her orders. And so I feel a little bit like for this, like, massive epic that introduces a woman in chapter 2, it hasn't really been about a woman as much as I thought we were. I thought we were going to get sort of this, like, co-protagonist thing.
Yeah.
And instead we got, like,
totally
we
fair.
need you to know the name of this woman, but don't worry too much about her work. The book is going to forget about her for...
We'll get back to it.
Yeah.
Ernest, thank you for that super chat. Each book focuses on one character over others. Way of Kings is more Kaladin's book than anyone else. Oh, it definitely feels that way.
Really? It feels like it's already... I feel like this is Dalinar's book.
Yeah, but Kaladin has been in part 1 and part 2.
Sure, but
he seems like the through line that connects them.
Dalinar actually has a huge goal that is, like, the epic goal, that is the, like, series goal. Dalinar cares a lot about the Way of Kings, a book in the universe that is the title of the book. Like, it just kind of feels like we got to part 2 and they were like, hey, so now that very long prologue is done, don't worry about that. That stuff actually isn't that important. So there are these two guys. Their names are Adlin and Dalinar. The book is actually about them. We didn't introduce them in part 1 because, like, the book is so long. But this book is about Dalinar and Adlin. They're really cool dudes. They have different opinions, but they've got a great relationship. They know the king. They have goals. They have all of these things. There's a mystery subplot in there. Like, they have so many different things going on.
Yeah.
Dalinar and Adolin, cool chapters where, like, it's a split perspective between father-son. Yeah. We're doing something different that we've never done in the Cosmere before with them in a way that I don't know that we are with Shallan. Don't worry about part 1. The book starts at part 2.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I don't even need Kaladin stuff in part 1.
Yeah.
Part 2, I could start with Kaladin at the top of part 2 and get what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just this weird thing where, like, the reading this week, I was like, this is a great start to a book.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear that. It did feel like a prologue.
Yeah, like thank you for those gifted members.
Thank you so much for 10 memberships. Go, not right now, but go later and watch the chapter reactions because you can. And Shin, thank you so much as well for 5 gifted memberships. Let's go. Guys, everyone in chat is going to be green. You'll love to see it, honestly.
Ryan, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you.
Shallan isn't my favorite character in the first book, but she's so good in future books. Cool stuff happens to her character. I'll leave it at that. I believe that.
Yeah.
I totally believe that. It is just weird to me to be like with this character as a co-protagonist where we're bouncing between Kaladin and her and Kaladin and her and Kaladin and her. And then it's like part 2, she's just not in it. And you're like, oh.
You're like, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And then they're like, and now there's 3 protagonists in part 2. And 2 of them are going to, like, name drop the name of the book and time travel back 4,500 years to a previous epoch to fight alongside knights against, like, the Dark One.
It's pretty fucking sick.
It's just a weird thing to be essence. Like, Shallan wants to steal this bracelet so that she cannot be poor anymore. And then they're like, Dalinar and Adolin are the fucking princes of a country that has been at war for 6 years because they're the brother and nephew of the previous king. And he's having visions of the past.
And he needs to unite the entire kingdom. Otherwise, they're gonna fall apart because the eternal storm is coming and it's gonna fucking.
They're fighting 80-foot tall chasm creepers. They're fucking like arguing about like the politics of entire nations. And Shallan's like, I really need this bracelet.
Yeah. No.
My dad wasn't a good dude, and so I need this bracelet. And you're like, the scale of these stories is so wildly different.
Yeah. Yep.
And so
100%.
Just. And look, I get it. Like Shallan is with Dalinar's daughter. Like, I totally understand how she's gonna come back later, and
totally,
it all makes sense.
But we've only had 4 chapters with her, so it's like, we'll get back to it, you know?
Yeah,
we'll get back
just very funny. The reading this week, I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
I just wish there was like a chapter with Shallan in here.
Yeah. Kumquat Sandwich, thank you so much for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Kumquat Sandwich.
Yeah, Dalinar's niece. That's you. Yeah.
What?
She's his brother's daughter, not his daughter. It's fine. You like knew that. We've talked about it. Jasnah
is Dalinar's eldest daughter.
No.
Yeah.
His niece. No, it's his brother's daughter. She is the daughter of the king Gavilar.
Oh, she's Alakar's sister, not Adolin's sister.
Alakar.
The king.
The king?
Alakar?
Elakar. Oh, sorry. The way you were saying it, I was picturing an A, and I couldn't picture.
Is it? I have not read his name. Is it not?
Elakar. E-L-K.
Oh, in the book, in the audiobook, it sounds like Alakar.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Yes, Elakar.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I this whole time thought that Jasnah was Adolin's sister.
Okay, well, oops.
I thought there was. I thought Dalinar had 3 kids. Adolin, Robin. And Robinia Robinski.
Rosalind Pike.
Renarin,
that's it.
Adolin Renarin, and I thought Jasnah was the 3rd kid.
No, yes, that's his niece. Who seems to be much older actually than his sons. Like Jasnah's like
Robin, Renarin, you guys can that makes sense, right? Ritalin.
There we go.
Good old Ritalin. Remember when I called Adlin Advil in the audiobook reaction and you looked like I'd fucking like slapped a cat?
I couldn't put that one together. Yeah. I like genuinely was like, who the fuck are you talking about?
All right. I really like this book, so let's talk about the chapters. Let's get into it.
Dalinar doesn't remember Ronaldo either.
No, he does.
I know, they have a good moment, but that is very funny.
Like, look, if I win another piece of shard plate, I fucking promise it's going to you. It's not going to him. Something's going on.
There's going to be a problem. But I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's gifted memberships. Like, we just started and y'all are fucking mad lads. So I appreciate that. It makes me feel better about getting audited.
Oh, we're just dropping that in book club.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It just sucks.
Guys, wait. Can we talk about, before we get to the chapters, can we talk about this really quick?
Why?
Because I'm not getting audited. So, like, what did you do?
Nothing. We did the same thing.
You did my taxes, so I'm worried.
Well, they're not separate.
Yeah. Oh, we're fucked, by the way. If we suddenly start, like, doing far griftier content, it's because we owe the government a lot of money.
No, we don't. An accountant did the stuff. We just have to, like, show them receipts and shit. Like, it's just annoying, and I don't have time for it.
Yeah, no, we're fucked. We are definitely screwed, you guys.
Sure.
It's gonna be really bad. And if we disappear off the internet, it's because Clarus is in prison, and I don't want to make content without her.
Fair. I'll just make content from prison. It's fine. There's literally nothing I could have done to send me to prison. Like, what could I have done?
I don't know.
Blue
I don't trust you.
Blue will help hide us. Thank you, Blue. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's not the IRS. It's the CRA, thankfully.
Yes.
No, actually, I would rather be the IRS. They are so understaffed, we'd probably just get away with it.
Well, apparently I was talking to a friend of ours. She was like, so you don't actually have to send them everything. They basically have maybe 2 hours to go over your shit. So they ask for a couple of things that they can look at, but they have so many people to get through that it's like, meh.
Okay.
So it's fine. It's just annoying as fuck.
But, don't say potential crimes on stream.
There are no crimes.
What crimes did we say? We're being audited.
You said I'm going to jail. Guys, I didn't do anything.
I didn't say that you did anything. I'm just joking about you going to prison. There's a big difference between being like, stole from the orphanage on this date. Here's the evidence that my wife... yeah. They found out about your Cayman Islands account. I wish we had savings somewhere in the world, but we don't even have savings in Canada.
No. What are savings?
Which is why an audit's a really bad thing for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Linus, thank you for that. Super Chatter's my contribution to you not having to pick up Attack on Titan again to pay the government. Thank you.
That's how we'll pay for the audit. We'll react to the rest of Attack on Titan.
Thank God, no. That's not worth it.
It's all unlisted on the channel. So you have to actually like go to the Attack on Titan playlist to watch those videos.
Oh my God.
So we'll just start over from episode 1 again.
No, Judah, thank you so much for that super chat. Just cast more money. I'll get on that.
I'll private all the old videos, and then I'll gaslight everyone in the comments who are like, they've watched this before, and be like, no, we haven't. What are you talking about?
No, never seen this before in my life. What's in the basement? Funny. I think we'll get to the basement in like episode 8. Actually,
we fake react to Attack on Titan a second time.
I hate that. I hate that.
DBJDI says, why are they unlisted? Because the death threats just were annoying. And
yeah,
honestly, like...
they were annoying.
We weren't getting enough views on them to make any more money off of them. So the death threats that we were getting from people finding them and being, like, mad about it was, like... It was just annoying. They're on the channel. If you click on the... If you want to watch those videos, I didn't take them off, right? You just have to click on the Attack on Titan playlist and go find them. Yeah. But they just don't... If you search Attack on Titan, they shouldn't come up anymore.
Yeah, and they're
except
not
for
being,
episode
like,
1. I left episode 1 public. So if you search Nerdy Nightly Attack on Titan and you want to watch them all, they're on YouTube. I just was like... They're out of the search site, which is why if you look on like Social Blade, if you like search our channel and look at our views, I think it might have been March I did it. We had negative 1.5 million views in March.
Oh yeah, because we like took videos
because we unlisted all of the Attack on Titan
videos. Yeah. We should. Oh, you know what we should do to make some money? We should do a Wheel of Time book club.
I can't do it again. Actually, I could, because I could just read summaries. I know it.
That's true. Harify, thank you. That was a great suggestion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they are somehow worse than the Star Wars fandom, who is also the worst. But, yeah, it's been a ride, guys.
We need to find the princess of a neighboring county and steal her bracelet. Guys, oh my God. We need to find Anne Hathaway.
Yes, and
steal the jewels of Genovia.
Oh my God. Yeah, there are some people who are here who were present in book clubs where the Attack on Titan fandom came in and, like, spent money to try and, like, spoil us and, like, just be assholes. Like, yeah.
Voka says, you say you can't read Wheel of Time again, but you will. Everyone does eventually. As long as book club is going, I don't know how we would have time.
I also, like, think I might read the first couple books again, but I really don't.
You already have. You've already done it.
Yeah, but I didn't know how it ended, and now because I don't like the ending, I'm like,
yeah. Johnny Quasar, thank you for subscribing on Twitch.
Thank you so much.
Welcome in.
Hell yeah.
As long as we're doing book club, I honestly don't, for the Tax Evasion Legal Fund, we're not evading taxes.
We're not.
We're going to get audited. They're going to tell us what we owe, and then we're going to pay it. We're not going to evade any taxes.
No, it's fine.
Honestly, we are very honest on our taxes, which is why we're going to get fucked a little bit. Because the only thing that we could actually get fucked on our taxes is that the government will look at some of the receipts and be like, actually, you shouldn't have written this off. You owe us this much. That is because our write-offs, the only thing is that they could be like, this was written off wrong. You owe more than you paid.
Maybe, but I can everything I wrote off, I can like prove with like video footage. I'm like, I wore this in a reaction.
I don't mean that kind of stuff. I mean stuff that's like they your lawyer or your accountant amortized your car the wrong way over this period of time.
Yeah.
So you owe. So like we might owe a few $1,000s to the government. But like we're not.
I don't know.
We don't
Never
hide
happened
money
before. So
we say all the cash that we make. Like, we don't hide any money, so...
No.
If I was going to get audited, the time
leaders.
to audit me would have been 2012, when I was working at Jekyll and Hyde, the restaurant in New York City, and I did not sell my tips.
Admitting crimes.
It's not a crime anymore. The statute of limitations has ended.
Oh, nice! Well done.
It has been more than 10 years.
Damn, okay.
So... yeah. All right, let's get into Unity, Chapter 12. Sorry for a 30-minute intro. We talked about the book.
We talked about the book?
Yeah.
We got our feelings out.
All right, Unity. We meet Adolin and Dalinar. They are on a platform going to
Sorry, this big bow is amazing.
A Chasmfiend. Chasmfiends are essentially like giant Tyranids from Warhammer 40k. Trippy, thank you for that super chat. I just got my carbon tax today in Alberta, so this should help.
Thank you so much for the super chat.
Love that. I love that.
Oh man, I don't know what that is. I'm gonna pretend that they're like centipede dragons.
Okay, I reference them a lot. I just need to show you a photo of them because I said it in the fucking Venom trailer as well. Tyranid. I think I can just write Tyranid. Tyranids are like they're a race in Warhammer 40k. But this is what I pictured when they said, like, Chasmfiend.
Okay. It's got, like, lobster claws, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's not as crab-like, but it's got the shell on the back, which is why...
Guys, it's crabs.
Yeah. Like, this is kind of what I pictured.
Okay. All right.
With the, like... It. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. I pictured, like, a kind of combination of that and a dragon.
What? Where did you get dragon from?
I don't know. Everything is dragons. The mouth, the
Why
head.
did I ask? I knew the answer to that question.
Honestly,
you like dragons.
Yeah.
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 Check out Biotitans. Yeah, that's kind of what Tyranids are, is kind of Biotitans. It's a similar idea. And so he is... so we start with Adolin. Interestingly, the POV chapters of Dalinar and Adolin are both of them. And in the audiobook, it doesn't always tell you when they switch.
No.
Which can be a little... You're like, oh.
Yeah, I had to go back and, like, reread stuff that we listened to that, like, switch between them. Because I was like, well, when the fuck did we get here?
I understand that there's nothing written in the book, but I think sometimes it's okay to add to a book for the audiobook. And this is one where I would have added some sort of acknowledgement that there is... Again, but, like, even a break is, like... I listen at 1.5 speed, so I zip through that too quickly.
True, that's true.
I think that adding and this is not a criticism of this book. This is just a criticism. This is an idea about audiobooks in general. Is just add in some sort of defining thing that allows me to know that you're switching POVs.
Yeah.
Because I like audiobooks now.
Yeah.
I never listened to them before the book club. I've actually realized that I get through the books a lot faster because it doesn't trigger my dyslexia in the same way.
Mm-hmm. I hope it wouldn't.
I never thought I would be okay with audiobooks. And now, like, it's almost the exclusive way that I listen to, that I read now.
Yeah.
Because my dyslexia, I realized, like, I was going so slow. And book club used to be almost a chore because I would have to reread the same paragraph 5 times to understand what the fuck was going on. And that just doesn't happen with audiobooks at all.
Yeah.
I feel like the show suffers a little bit because I don't have quotes as much from the books as I used to.
Yeah.
But for me, like I have a better reading experience, and I'm having a great time with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's they're so useful. I still struggle, especially like not being able to like picture people's names. Which is why I think that I prefer audiobooks on like a reread as opposed to like a first read. Because like when you say like Alucard, like I am literally like picturing in my head like Alucard, like how it's spelled. And so if
which
the
is
first time
when I say it, I picture what I envision his shard plate looks like.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's like yeah. So like a first time reading people's names, especially fantasy names, I like to be able to see it.
Yeah.
But audiobooks are great.
Jonathan Gonzalez says, random recommendation, but the audiobook for World War Z is awesome with very good actors like Mark Hamill. I love that book, so I would definitely listen to that audiobook.
That's rad.
I think World War Z is fantastic.
I like the movie, but I have not read the book.
And Bryce says, sometimes I can do audiobooks, sometimes I just can't concentrate on them, and I can't tell which it's going to be until I'm listening. Because the listening for me is work for the show, I can't not listen actively to an audiobook.
Right.
I think that if I was listening to audiobooks for myself, it would be a different experience. But because I'm doing it for book club, I feel like it forces me to pay attention in a different way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I am like, I'll do the dishes and I'll do like physical labor stuff while I'm listening. But it is book club time. It's book club work. And so it like focuses my brain because I know I have to talk about it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bogdan Danbog, thank you for the super chat. That is the one thing that you kind of miss out on is the like pictures in the book.
Yeah. I need to start going back and looking at those.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many of them, and honestly, the problem is we don't have the physical book. We have the Kindle, and the Kindle is really small and hard to read.
Yeah, but I have it on my iPad.
Oh, well, that would help. Yeah. Yeah, that's better than the Kindle. The Kindle's like this big, and I'm like, what does this say? Like.
Arzu, thank you. Yeah, I will look at the art. Thank you for that super chat.
Yeah. It's cool.
So Idlin is concerned about his father, High Prince Dalinar, because he is having like seizures during the high storms that are causing him to believe some weird shit.
He's also not really like a fighter anymore. He used to be the Blackthorn? Is that it? Yeah, he was like this
which I think there's also
fighter.
I think there's a dragon in Game of Thrones that's also called the Blackthorn, but
the Blackthorns are a house in Game of Thrones.
That's what it is.
So that's probably it.
Is there not a dragon in like
I believe the Blackthorns are part of the North.
That's nickname is Blackthorn, the Blackthorn? Maybe there isn't. I don't know.
I don't believe so, but I could be wrong because I haven't actually read all of them.
So, so he the basically what the Black Dread. That's what I'm thinking. Balerion, the Black Dread. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mixed up the Black Dread and the Blackthorns.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So basically, what we learned throughout the reading, and we'll just lay it out here because we don't need to like hide it the way the book does. Is that the Parshendi War has basically become not a war.
It's like a weird competition.
Yeah, because
for gem hearts.
In coming to the Shattered Plains, which is the like former home of I believe the kingdom from the opening prelude that fell 5,000 years ago or whatever.
Prelude.
Where Krikniax or Kalak. I think that Kalak dropped his sword on the Shattered Plains.
Oh, I thought that the Shattered Plains was in Dalinar's, like, vision. Like, doesn't he say, oh, that kingdom, that became the Shattered Plains?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. That kingdom...
it's also the same place.
The destruction that we see in the prelude is that place, but later than that, right? Because that is the beginning of those creatures showing up. And so that fight happened... The Shattered Plains is shattered in that fight that we see in the prelude.
Okay, so you're thinking that the flashback happened and then the prelude happened, and in that order, like... Yeah,
it had to.
Because they talk about the Knights Radiant. Obviously, the people in Shardplate are the Knights Radiant who have fucking magic powers and crazy shit. And those are the people who, like, gave up their swords in the prelude.
I don't know that the Knights Radiant are the 10. I think there might be more than 10 Knights Radiant. But I think that there are, because there's another word. I can't remember what it is. But I think the Knights Radiant are basically like the like... Heralds? Yes, I think the Heralds are the 10, right? And then the Knights Radiant are like their order of combatants. And the Heralds are like the best of those, of that order.
Okay. They're like the generals.
I think that there are Knights Radiant throughout, and then the Heralds show up for the big battle at the end every time.
Yeah, they're like either the most powerful, or they're the generals, or they are.
No, they're not. They're not any of that. Because they are like being tortured in the waiting dream.
Oh.
Before they come back to help with the. They're basically like They're more like the Heroes of the Horn.
But they
and the Knights
tortured.
Radiant are like the Aes Sedai. Does that make sense?
Okay.
But the Aes Sedai have been wiped out in this time, and so like they're like Dalinar has to like rebuild the Knights Radiant so that when the Heralds come back from the waiting dream, although they might not come back from the waiting dream this time because
right?
Yeah, because they like gave up the Oath Pact. But I don't know. I feel like we're gonna see Kalak again. I feel like he thinks he's allowed to give up and that he wasn't actually, and the storytelling of that is gonna be like they tried to give up and then couldn't. But my point is, so I think the Shattered Plains, what I think happened, this is a huge theory time, but I think that those swords were left in the Shattered Plains for a significant amount of time, and the energy of them seeped into the chasms. And I think that the gem hearts at the center of the Chasmfiends is like the Chasmfiends thriving off of the energy that was left in the Shattered Plains by the 10 swords being left in a circle there.
Okay, yeah.
And I think that High Storms battered the swords, filled them with energy, which seeped into the Shattered Plains, and is now being dragged up out of the earth. I think the Chasmfiends are literally dragging this energy up out of the ground in the form of their gem hearts.
Or they like
which is why they're so valuable.
Or they evolved like in the magic. Like literally like stewing in it.
Which is why those gem hearts, which are steeped in the energy of the battle that happened here at the end of the last epoch.
Yeah.
Which is why the modern day Surge Binders or Soul Casters or whoever are able to pull so much energy out of the gem hearts.
Yeah.
Is because it seeped into the ground when the 10 swords were, or 9 out of 10 swords were stabbed into the ground.
Yeah.
And it became like a divining rod for the High Storm energy to get channeled into this place.
That's cool. Yeah, because they're used for magic, which is why they're so valuable.
Yeah.
And so they have to kind of like have an innate magic power, which could come from the sword. Yeah.
I just think there's
cool. I like that.
There's something going on with
that.
It being gemstones and with the like shard plate being like living gemstone almost.
Well, because the shard plate nowadays is painted, but when he goes to the flashback, he like remarks that it's like actually like it seems to be made out of that color, and therefore maybe that like.
Well, no, the shard plate is just gray. They paint the shard plate.
Yes, but when he goes into the flashback, he says that it looks different.
Oh, yeah.
I believe, if maybe I'm misremembering, but...
Brian ETA, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
Crazy how John Blackthorne from Shogun sailed all the way from Japan, from the Japans, to Roshar to become a high prince.
Crazy.
Weird that he forgot how to use cannons, though.
Yeah, super crazy. Cannons would have been useful. Probably.
I fucking love that show. Shogun is so good. If you haven't seen Shogun, you're missing out. That show is fantastic.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know. That's my crazy prediction. Okay. I might be like way off, but I just feel like...
I love it.
Dirk Russo, there weren't 10 swords. There were 10 spots, but there were only 9 swords were put into the stone.
Because one of them died again.
What's-his-face got left behind.
Starts with a T. T got left behind.
Yeah.
Because they died.
Testosterone got left behind.
So they have eternal damnation? Torture? Maybe? I don't know.
It's not eternal, because they get to come out.
Maybe they're going to be the big bad. Maybe this happens, and they're like, because their 9 friends abandoned them to eternal torment.
They become like Sauron?
Yeah. They're like, fuck you! Burn it all down.
That's actually an interesting idea, right? The like herald that got left behind. It is actually very reminiscent of Diablo. Some of the storytelling in Diablo. There's an angel in Diablo that goes evil and becomes the Reaper of Souls, I think. It's kind of a spoiler for Diablo, but like honestly, if you're playing that game for the plot, interesting choice. Alexander, thank you for a bit. I appreciate that.
Thank you. If you're playing for the plot.
If you're playing Diablo for the plot, That shit gets wild. If you're playing for the cinematics, I get it. Lilith, hot. Mommy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically, we don't learn all of this in chapter 12, but I wanted to talk about the whole thing because it's harder in book club to talk about it in pieces than it is to just say, the war started, they found out that the Chasmfiends had gem hearts, they realized the gem hearts were worth a lot of money, and so the war kind of stalled out because it isn't really about beating the Parshendi.
Nope.
It's about maintaining the war so that they have a reason to continue to get this wealth out of the ground.
Yeah, and like compete with one another.
Mm-hmm. It is basically the Middle East. Like,
well, yeah.
I'm not even joking at all, right? I think that the book is very much a post-War on Terror novel in a way that I don't know that this fantasy would be written by not from a Western point of view.
Yeah.
And I don't know that you would have gotten this plot before the War on Terror and like Operation Desert Storm and that kind of stuff, because it feels this narrative of going to war in a place for revenge and then sticking around because the war is actually about a resource is the most post 9/11 shit ever for fantasy to dive into.
That's fair.
And I think that I relate to it so hard because that was my teenage years.
Yeah.
Like that's what I lived through.
Yeah.
I have so many friends that fought in that war.
Yeah.
And so it is it's really interesting to read a fantasy story that is taking the reaction to 9/11 and making that fantasy in a way that I don't know that I've read a fantasy book that has done this.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are, right? Like it's such a foundational memory for so many of the people in the world.
Well,
at this
and
point, right?
at that point in time, yeah.
But the book feels very reactionary to the reality of what the War on Terror became.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Morses Primnon, thank you for that super chat. Thank you. I love highlighting quotes, but I also love audiobooks, so read and listen at the same time, usually. Totally fair. Listen on 1.4 to 1.7 times speed, though. Some people find it weird, but I like it. No, I 100% get that. It's why I have the book while we're doing the reactions with me. Partially, anyways. The one thing that's weird about the audiobook reactions is that it is on one-time speed.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it feels a little slow. So I get, like, depending on who's narrating, you have to find the right speed that you, like, read at. And, like, have it there as reference. I think both is good.
Practically Incarnate says, wasn't Desert Storm the 90s thing, not the War on Terror? Oh, yeah, no, they are separate. Desert Storm was 90s. The reason I brought up Desert Storm is I could already read the comments of people being like, you know that war for oil in the Middle East didn't start with 9/11, right? And I threw out Desert Storm to preempt those comments by saying, I know that this started before 9/11 and that 9/11 was not actually the beginning of this, but actually a midpoint. Because people seem to forget that, like, just because a date, something bad happened and then stuff happened afterwards, there was actually stuff before it.
Let them comment. Yeah.
It's like, but it still happens now, right? People are like, October 7th is the start of this war between Hamas and Israel. And it's like, no, it was a moment in a war that has been going on since
decades.
Over twice my life, over 3 times my lifespan. No.
Lifespan? Wow.
Over two times.
Wow. I see where you're coming from.
I was just acknowledging that it's more complicated than just 9/11 and then the War on Terror in the Middle East and oil. It started, before that.
Right, yeah.
But Zeth, Code 76 is right. Zeth is the 9/11 in the book. And what's interesting about that is that even Zeth and being the metaphor for 9/11 in this novel, they were already at war with the Parshendi, and the 9/11 of this book happens when they are signing a peace treaty to end something that then kicks off the next phase of it, which is very similar in some ways to what happened between Operation Desert Storm, 9/11, and then the War on Terror. And so I think that if Brandon Sanderson was not intentionally putting that into his book, considering when this book came out, because this would have been a weird coincidence. This was 2012, right?
I think so. I think that's what we found out.
So this would have come out months after Osama bin Laden was killed, Right? And so it's kind of like we were at the height of the time period where that war was so deeply influencing all elements of American life.
Yeah.
Right? Like all of our media, so much so that Iron Man is about the war on terror. Right? Like people forget that like the MCU started with
Tony Stark
we are
in a cave.
fighting terrorists in the Middle East with Tony Stark's weaponry.
Yeah.
And so it's just like all 2010. Yeah. So, you kind of have this time period where all American art is at least somewhat influenced by the war on terror. Probably even to this day. And it's just really poignant in this.
Yeah. It's funny, like bad at making those connections, but you pointed out and I'm like, oh yeah, no, that makes 100% sense.
To be fair, you've also never lived in the States. And I think that like 9/11, while we felt it in Canada, the aftermath of it...
I didn't. And like that seems like very callous. Like so many people I know, you included, remember that date. Couldn't.
Well, yeah. I mean, you were
no idea.
5. No.
7.
7. Yeah, I was 9. And I remember vividly. But I think that a lot of my connection to it came from living so close to Ground Zero.
And your mom is American.
Watching the Freedom Tower be built throughout my college years. Like, I have, like, a tie. I was at Ground Zero the day that Osama bin Laden was killed and partied all night outside at Ground Zero. It was a very weird evening. Yeah. My friend Sid, who's an incredible critic now, one of the best movie critics online, Sid Antadlaki, he and I went to the Ground Zero celebration of Osama bin Laden getting killed. But he was scared to go because he's, big beard, brown. And so he went in a Captain America helmet and Captain America shield just because he was like, he didn't want there to be any problems.
Right.
And
that's fair.
Fucking drank red, white, and blue shots all night in the streets chanting USA. And there was a moment there where I was like, this is weird. Like, this is a weird thing to be so excited about with so many other people.
Yeah.
And it was a mob mentality thing that I'm glad stayed civil.
Yeah, Judah, thank you for that super chat.
But yeah.
Any speculations on the Parshendi/Parshman?
I think it's bullshit.
That they're like subservient or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's. I think there's something going on. I don't know. I don't really have we haven't seen a Parshendi talk yet in book, and so
because they don't the Parshmen don't talk. They're like basically mute, and I'm like that can't be.
I just think that they're telepathic. I think that they have personalities, and we just haven't gotten into it yet. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get to know them more. Mm-hmm. But I don't really yet because there's nothing about them to speculate on yet.
I don't have enough information, and I have not gotten any I don't feel like I have enough, honestly.
They could just be dudes. You know what I mean? They'd just be a bunch of dudes who are just like living and be under attack constantly, and like they're using the gem hearts as a resource too, and like they're not actually that interesting. It could be fucking that we know so little about them other than they are the enemy. I don't know. They worship the Chasmfiends as gods, which I find very interesting.
Well, and they have this like marbled skin, and I wonder if maybe the Parshendi also, if the Chasmfiends, for example, came from the magic in the Shattered Plains, perhaps the Parshendi have a connection to the magic there as well. Like maybe the Parshmen are like telepathic, which is why they're mute. Yeah. And then their warriors seem to be like particularly strong. Like they're like pretty like sturdy, like Colin. I don't know.
You think that because they're like black and red, that if you ate out a Parshendi woman, she'd taste like chocolate covered strawberries?
What the fuck? No. That's not where that's definitely not what I was thinking at all.
All right.
But you let me know if you ever find out.
I don't think they're real.
God damn it. Book club came early. Or fucking Smut Corner came early. God damn it. Normally we save that for the end of book club. But train of thought, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, so we are now 54 minutes in, and we've gotten through 1/3 of chapter 12.
Well, we've been Okay, yeah.
Parshusi? Oh my god, I want to eat that parshusi.
It actually tastes like Black Forest cake.
John Schmidt says, wouldn't it be chocolate-covered cherries? Are strawberries not red in your world, John Schmidt?
No, cherry, like, pop that cherry is like a euphemism.
They're not all virgins.
God damn it.
They might taste like cherries the first time, but then after that...
Wow. I hate this conversation. Anyways.
Blue says, Nerdy, I need you to go on a musical theater tangent. If you tell me what you need, I'm not going to do it. Blue, now you're never going to win, because I know how to keep you from winning.
Yeah.
You guys, you can't tell me what's on the bingo cards, because then I will hold off.
Yeah, Nerdy is
spiteful.
True.
We meet Sadius. Sadius is another High Prince. He's kind of a dick.
He is a dick. He's very much a dick.
Sadius does have shard plate, but he doesn't have a shard blade. I can't be bought, Blue. Unless you want me to watch all of Attack on Titan, which I will do for $100 an episode.
No.
No,
you can do it by yourself.
We set that price. No, you agreed to it when we set that price.
Fuck that.
You can't go back on your word. I will not allow you to dishonor the chat.
I have no honor, so...
You do. The Nerdy Nightly is an honorable institution where we keep our word.
We have made
a promise. Yes.
Does that change our tax status?
No, we've been an institution since August of 2020.
Love that.
When we got a business number so that we could have better tax situations and get audited. Let's go. Sadius is a little shit. Who maybe isn't a shit, but I think he's a shit.
Oh, he's a shit.
I don't trust... I think he's going to betray Elhokar.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, I know that we get the, like, moment on the...
In the flashback?
I know we get the moment... No, not the flashback. We get the moment at the edge of the cliff where they're, like, making the, like, agreement about how they're gonna work together. And it's Dalinar showing Adolin that Sadius and him have this, like, secret arrangement. Mm-hmm. I just think that it's a fucking lie. I think Sadius will uphold Elhokar until he can profit from him falling. But I just don't get the vibe that it's genuine.
I know. Yeah, I don't like him. I'm very suspicious of him. He's just a prick.
Judah Canizares is like, would you say Sadius is sadistic? No, George Lucas did not name these characters.
Thank you for that super chat.
No, yeah. Thank you for the super chat, but no. If it was a George Lucas character, then yes, Sadius would be sadistic.
Yeah, yeah. But that's not how this works.
No. Brandon Sanderson doesn't quite write drug dealers named Sleaze Bagano.
A tragedy, to be sure. God damn it.
You want to buy some death sticks? If his name was Sadius Mino, that is a George Lucas name if I have ever read one.
I hate it.
It's what's missing from modern Star Wars is being like, the guy's a sleaze bag. Call him Sleaze Bagano.
Yeah. Oh my god. Very on point.
I love when people now are like, God, the writing in Star Wars is just, it's not the best writing. And I'm like, have you seen Star Wars?
Have you seen a Star Wars?
I hate sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating. And it gets everywhere.
That is iconic. It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's iconic.
Yeah, it's iconic. For a reason. So we basically we find out that Elhokar is the king. He is Gallivant's son. And I want someone to do like a
crossover.
Like a prologue musical about Gallivar, but using the music of Gallivant.
Yeah.
And it's like the prequel series to the Stormlight Archive. Is this a musical theater reference? Did I just fuck up?
Yeah, you fucked up.
Damn it.
I'm calling it.
There you go, Blue.
Blue wins bingo.
See, my brain isn't deep enough to...
Oh my god.
Okay, but Mr. Kite, I was going to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters isn't bad writing. It is a bad line delivery. But I want to go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters.
Yeah, they shouldn't have kept that.
That's a good line.
Take, you know?
That's a good line. It's just a bad delivery.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mark Hamill would agree. He's like, you know what? I could do better.
You talk for a second. I have to read this.
Oh, about the car?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No, it's fine.
It's fine. Oh.
I just have to approve something.
Anyways, yeah, so Elcar is the king. They are on their way to a hunt. They hunt the Chasmfiend to steal the gem hearts, to get more rich and more powerful. And on their way, Elcar is bored and decides to race his uncle. And Dalinar almost wins and then decides not to. Which is...
Oof.
What?
It's just going to be way more expensive than I thought.
Great. Love that.
There's a problem with the evaporator.
The evaporate. I don't even know what that is.
No idea.
Cool.
Blue didn't metagame. He did the opposite, and then I fucked up at keeping him from victory.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was like, they're gonna go hunt the Chasmfiends, and then Dalinar and Elcar have a race.
Yeah.
They're trying to like boost up Elcar. Elcar needs like a bump in confidence. So they're gonna go do a hunt where they don't really hunt. They just let someone else weaken an animal so they can come in for the killing blow.
Which is
very honorable.
Very similar to House of the Dragon Season 1, which I found interesting. Was the like, we're gonna wear the animal down so that the like king can come in at the last minute and just give it a poke.
Yeah, well, because how the fuck would Robert Baratheon be fast enough to like take out a boar? Like,
but it's not about speed. The thing about that show is that they're like, look at how fat he is, and I'm like, I don't think you understand how like strength works on real people.
Oh, he's just lazy.
Oh, sure. But like,
whatever. Like, he's thicker. That doesn't matter. He's just a lazy piece of shit that doesn't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah. And so they're gonna go hunt this Chasmfiend, but they're looking for it, and Elcar is like, I want to go climb that because he's a boy, and so he goes and climbs that, and Dalinar's like, fuck. So Dalinar takes off, and then we get a sequence that is the fantasy version of G.I. Joe 1 when they put on the power suits and are running through the street and they run through the bus. If you've never seen it, look, the movie's not the best. That is a great fucking action sequence. That G.I. Joe movie's not perfect, but the power suit running sequence is so well done. I will fight for it forever. And so they can like super run, which I cannot wait to see in live action. I think it's going to be hilarious. Because super running is always funny. Like the Twilight running, fucking hilarious. The Smallville super running, goofy as shit. Even the Flash, like he just becomes a lightning bolt because we don't know how. But so he like runs on a treadmill like this, and then we just have the city whip by in the background because like how do you super run? Super running is always funny.
Yeah. And
I cannot wait for them to super run in like giant metal plates of armor.
Yeah.
There's no way this doesn't look goofy as fuck, and I'm gonna adore it.
I'm so excited. Blue, thank you for that super chat. Could fireworks blow a hole in a Chasmfiend?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
If you need 100%. To use super powered bow shots that are 3 inches thick to pierce this thing, a firework isn't doing shit.
3 inches thick?
Yeah.
The arrows are not this thick, like
yes,
around.
They are.
That's.
Did you read the book?
I thought they were thicker than normal arrows.
It said like 3 inches. That's why you have to have shard plate to shoot them. It's basically a scorpion bolt, right? They'd be about that thickness. Which is why only the shard bearers can use the shard. They don't want to call them shard bows, but the shard bows have to be shot by a shard bearer because they're fucking like thick as a brick. Thicker than, I was gonna say thick as a dick, but they're thicker than a dick.
All right.
3 fingers is like 3 inches. Like my fingers are like an inch thick. What they are?
Well, I imagine 3 fingers like this. Like it's like an arrow like this.
Like 3. Okay, so 3 fingers of mine is 2 inches.
I imagined it like 3 fingers like this.
No. They were like, it's so thick that you have to fucking use magic to shoot it.
Well,
oh,
yeah.
This is the car.
Oh, that's the car.
Hello?
Hey, David. We're just having a little bit of an issue with our system today. I just wanted to make sure you actually did accept those recommendations.
I did. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'll give you a call when we're all done, okay?
Yeah, I won't be free for a few hours, but do what you need to do.
No worries.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Phone call. Scuffhandy, thank you for that super duper chat.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. We appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself.
Y'all have to wonder what those big boys taste like. Yeah, like chocolate covered strawberries.
Thank you for that super chat.
No, the arrows are basically like fucking like ballista bolts.
Yeah, I did not envision that. I envisioned like 3 arrows bundled together.
No, I envisioned like a fucking like tube. I don't know how it works, but
you could only carry so many of those with you, though.
He's not carrying any of them. They're like probably in a fucking like.
You need an entire fucking cart, I guess. Sure.
They have palanquins with them.
Sure.
It's not like they're not fighting the Chasmfiend with what's on his back. They're fighting the Chasmfiend with what the fucking shit they dragged. They have like farm animals.
Anyways, Sadeas has thick shafts.
That is true.
And that's what we learned from this.
But he has a thin shaft because this man has way too many insecurities to have a big dick. You know what I mean?
Probably. He has to resort to like being an asshole to children.
Yeah.
And calling them useless. Yeah. So they have a little race. They are gonna go fight some.
Dalinar is going to win the race.
And then doesn't.
And then he's like hanging at the top.
Yeah.
And then he just hangs there and lets him win. And I'm like, it's a good thing that Elhokar is not perceptive.
No. Passive perception is like a 7, except when he thinks that he's being hunted and assassinated.
Even then, it's still a 7 because he isn't.
I mean, questionable.
Having a high passive perception means that you see shit that's there.
But that strap was cut.
Sure. But he didn't see it until afterwards. His passive perception is shit. His passive perception
is wonderful after like 10:30 p.m. You know what I mean? Once the sun goes down, he's like...
Seeing shit that isn't there is not high passive perception. That is the opposite.
I don't know. There's like bugs and stuff that make noise.
His wisdom modifier is a negative. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I honestly don't really know. He's such an interesting character because the only thing we get really about him is that he's paranoid. Like, it doesn't seem like he's a particularly good or bad king. He's just kind of been like fucked up by his dad being assassinated. I
feel like he is a good king for the reason that he is willing to listen to his advisors, and he has great advisors who are helping him really doing the Lord's work, keeping him in power.
I mean, I don't know. Sadeas just wants to collect gem hearts and use the lives of the bridgemen to do so.
Sure.
So I don't know about that, because Elhokar's like, yeah, we should definitely kill more of our slaves and bridgemen so that we can get more gem hearts. Oh, yeah, and the revenge thing, too, I guess.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you about that, in that, like, I don't think he's a good king to all of his subjects, but I do think that he is a good king in the sense that he can be advised. Because the worst version of him is that he can't be advised at all, and that he thinks he's always right. Well, and that is a more paranoia, dangerous...
It makes me worried that that's going to happen.
I think that... Yeah, I think that Dalinar is such a good advisor that it's good that he listens to Dalinar.
Yeah, well, in this chapter, Dalinar tells his son, Adolin, like, I don't know if we should be here. I think we should be at home, like, actually taking care of our kingdom.
So Dalinar, we need to start talking about the book and not just our feelings about it. Dalinar is having visions where somebody keeps being like, unite them.
Yes.
And so he's like, sure, I will do that. And so he's talking to Elhokar and he's like, hey, like, maybe we should, like, be united. And Elhokar's like, let's go kill a fucking Chasmfiend. And so they run back down the mountain. And we get more Adolin POV, where Adolin gets kind of mocked for being a bit of a cad, for setting a lunch date with one girl while actively courting another.
Yeah.
And then we'll see him with a different one later. And meanwhile, in all of this, we get the King's Wit who shows up, who is definitely
Hoyd. 100%. Like...
Also, there's no more epigraphs about people's death words. Now it's a letter Hoyd wrote that has been broken into chunks.
Oh, that's what you think it is. That's interesting.
Yeah, because did I put... So, like, this one is, old friend, I hope this missive finds you well. Though, as you are now essentially immortal, I would guess the wellness on your part is something of a given. I realize that you are probably still angry. That is pleasant to know. Much as your perpetual health, I've come to rely upon your dissatisfaction with me. It is one of the Cosmere's great constants, I should think. It's definitely Hoyd.
Okay,
Let me first assure you that the element is quite safe. What's the element? One of the shards? Did another shard make it to... fucking whatever planet this is.
Okay.
I have found a good home for it. I protect its safety like I protect my own skin, you might say. You do not agree with my quest. I understand that. As much as this is clearly a letter. It flows.
100%. I just did not piece them together in the slightest.
So much as it's possible to understand someone with whom I disagree so completely. Chapter 16, 7.5 years ago. Okay, that one doesn't count. 17, may I be quite frank, before you asked why I was so concerned, it is for the following reason. 18, Ati was once a kind and generous man, and you saw what became of him. Raisa, on the other hand, was among the most loathsome, crafty, and dangerous individuals I had ever met. Don't know who those people are? We'll find out later. He holds the most frightening and terrible of all the shards.
Yeah.
So, like, Raisa could be like Sazed, because Sazed holds 2 shards, technically, right?
Yeah, but Sazed has never been loathsome or crafty.
No. I'm saying like Sazed, not literally Sazed.
Okay.
Like, Sazed technically holds... What are the 2 that he has?
Preservation and Ruin?
Yes.
Is that 2 shards?
Yeah, because then Endowment is a shard on... Isn't Endowment the shard from... Why are you saying book club spoiler? How can we be spoiled on stuff we've already read?
No, someone else put a spoiler and Arzu deleted it.
Thank you, Arzu. Then 19. Okay, he holds the most shards. Ponder on that for a time, you old reptile, and tell me if your insistence on non-intervention holds firm, but I assure you, Raisa will not be similarly inhibited 7 years ago.
Okay, yeah, no, it's definitely a...
Should we read the epigraph for 21 and see if the letter continues? Since it's the next bit of reading.
Maybe at the end.
Chapter 21. No, we're doing it. One need only look at the aftermath of his brief visit to Cell to see proof of what I say? Wait a second. No, this is about Hoyd. Hoyd holds the most frightening and terrible of all the shards. Because Hoyd went to Cell. Cell is,
Yeah.
Cell is Elantris.
Yes.
Right? Or is Cell Mistborn? Which one is Cell?
I'm pretty sure it's Elantris.
Planet.
No, don't! Stop Googling things! No!
No!
Don't do it!
I just need to know what book.
Do not
Cell
Google
is
Planet Cell. Chat will tell us. Stop it. Okay. It's
okay.
Elantris. Okay, it's fine.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. I'm gonna save you from yourself. Jesus Christ. Sir, this is a Wendy's. God damn it. Never do that again. Oh my God.
Mistborn, okay.
What could possibly go wrong if I Google Planet Cell?
So, this might be about Hoyd. Whoa. The character, this might be a letter written by one of the characters from the bog scene, the fucking freshwater lake scene that are looking for Hoyd. Remember the interludes?
Yes.
This is a letter from one of the people looking for Hoyd about Hoyd.
Right.
So Hoyd...
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, the epigraphs have nothing to do with the book and are very interesting.
Well, these ones, I think...
Arzu gave you a reward for your effort.
Thank you, Arzu. I appreciate that. Super duper chat. Let's fucking go. You're welcome. I'm out here doing the Lord's work. You know what I'm saying?
You're going to have to do that a lot at Gen Con so that I don't play the Stormlight Archive.
I will. I will do whatever it takes.
I'll just live stream from the floor the whole day so that people know that I didn't spoil myself.
God. Jesus Christ. Chat's trying to save you. You're trying to save you from yourself.
You can't save me from myself.
Thank you, Arzu.
What's so funny is I've never been, I think I've had one spoiler in all of book club. And it's so funny to me that chat's so worried. And I'm like, I've never really been spoiled.
Yeah, there was one spoiler that I got from Twitter for Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cause they work really hard to make sure we're not spoiled.
No, it's all me. Nobody else.
Sure, yes.
Anyway, so the King's Wit is probably Hoid.
Probably
He might
Hoid.
be the most dangerous man in the galaxy. He might be the best person in the galaxy. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
He does a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, I don't know what he wants or what the fuck he's doing, but
it just seems like random sometimes. Like sometimes he's like literally just passing along gossip on the streets of Scadrial, and sometimes he's present at Elantris for some reason.
Yeah, I just think that like the fact that everyone thinks that Wit is like a little bit strange. Like there's like something like weird, probably innately like magical about him, holding a shard maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wit is definitely like not of this world.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah.
So the fight begins. And basically the plan is that there's going to be a boar on a chasm, and they're going to shoot arrows across the chasm at it. Or on a plateau across a chasm. And the Chasmfiend's going to come up at the like pig thing. That they're the
they
wild
put it
pig thing.
In the chasm.
No, it's on the plateau across from them.
What? No, because they can't see it because they pull up the rope and there's nothing on the other side. It's in the chasm and they're going to shoot down at it, right?
No, the bait is at the end of the rope. But there's like a pig thing on the other side that is going to like run with the rope. It's supposed to drag the bait.
The chull? The chull is dragging the bait.
The pig thing.
It's a crab.
The chulls are also crabs?
Yes. We talked about this.
I thought the gremlings were crabs.
The Kremlings? I don't know what the Kremlings are. No idea. They might also be crabs.
I thought chulls were like pigs.
No.
They're crab cows?
Yeah, they're like
God.
crab bowl kind of thingies.
Johnny Coleman, thank you for that super chat.
Oh, it's crabs. Johnny Coleman, thank you.
Brandon's books, by their very nature, are really easy to spoil. Imagine Googling Mistborn medals because you didn't realize there are more. That's fair. Okay, so the crab thing there's a crab thing on the other plateau. And it's gonna like drag some bait.
I thought it was on theirs because they pull up the rope, but now I feel like I've envisioned
the servants on the other plateau pull up the rope.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And so basically the crab thing is supposed to like drag the bait across the other plateau so that on their plateau they can shoot arrows at that plateau.
Yeah.
And then the guys in the shard plate can eventually jump over with their super jumps and go stab it.
But
instead,
Chasmfiend is too big brain. And it eats the bait and then attacks the waiting people.
Yes, and so...
the spectators. The whole 1,000 people that came to watch them commit murder. Crazy. Couldn't be me.
It's not murder. That's not what the definition of murder is.
Well, they're killing a thing, and we don't know if it's sentient.
They're hunting a thing.
Yeah?
Yeah, which is not a person.
We don't know that it is not sentient. I'm just saying.
Do you consider, like, all killing murder?
No, murder's just fun to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then, the Chasmfiend is like, nah, fuck that. There's a bunch of people over here. I'm going to attack over here. And then it immediately takes out the bridge. The geography of this fight, I thought the bridge was behind them, but it seems like the bridge was like I don't know. Anyway, a bunch of people immediately die, fall to their death. The Chasmfiend fucks shit up, and we get 10 heartbeats, chapter 13.
It has 14 legs, which is disgusting. This is why I imagined like a centipede dragon.
And honestly, it probably tastes delicious. I hope they cooked this thing up, had a good meal. Dalinar, Adolin, and Elhokar, they all have shard blades. And so they run in, they start fighting the thing. It's pretty cool. It seems like things might get a little bit hairy. And then Sadeas starts using his grand bow.
Yeah.
Or his, like, super bow. And starts attacking with it. Yeah. And in that moment, the fight turns. And they're able to start killing the limbs. And they're, like, attacking limbs. And they're attacking the thing.
We did react to this chapter, so if you are a member, you can go watch that.
While they're riding around on their horses, which are very rare. And horses choose their rider.
I love this.
Yeah.
There's definitely some series where, like, horses are just, ever-present and abundant resource. But in this, they're not. They're, like, a rare thing. And I think that that's a really fun concept. Because you're not just limited by like how wealthy you are, but you also have to get like chosen, and it's cool.
I don't know if a horse has chosen Sadeas, but I would be surprised because he's a little shit. So Sadeas is basically providing like support.
Yeah, because the king almost dies. The king's like rushing in there and being a little shit about
and his strap breaks.
Yeah, the
strap on his horse breaks while he's like doing a dodge, and he gets shifted to the side, and it snaps, and he goes and
So as the Chasmfiend's about to like squash him like a bug, Sadeas comes in and pew-pews. They like break the legs off. They cut the legs off. Well, they don't really cut them off. The legs die because the shard blades kill them. The shard blades don't like cut in a classic sense of like slicing unless the thing is already dead. They like kill the flesh kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's It's an interesting fight because obviously this thing is fucking massive and very powerful.
Yeah.
And has a lot of legs, but they eventually take out...
And is powerful enough to shatter their shard plate. Like, they damage the shard plate enough that their shard plate is going to have to...
It's leaking.
Grow?
Yeah. So Alucard is about to fucking die. And Dalinar goes full daddy. And, like,
he gets that, like, mom strength.
Yeah, that adrenaline.
Yeah.
And he stops the Chasmfiend from smooshing him. And, like, his shard plate is, like, breaking because of the strength required to fight this beast that's, like, huge. Like, I pictured, like the size of, like, an airplane.
Probably, yeah.
Like a big plane. Is what I imagine. And so he's like the vision, the image of him like leaking light that Adolin remembers,
because he catches the claw, and as it's like squishing him, his shard plate is cracking open, and more stormlight is pouring out of him. And
Adolin was like, oh wow, there's the Blackthorn, there's the
that's the guy I've heard about.
Yeah.
And so Adolin is basically able to take out the legs, giving Elhokar a chance to get back on his feet, and the king gets that final blow with the shard blade, and then rips out the largest gem heart we've yet seen before. Never before has such a large gem heart. Honestly, the Chasmfiend was probably going to die because its heart was so big, but...
Sure.
Yeah. Sort of like how the Grinch dies immediately after he steals Christmas, because his heart grows 3 sizes, which does kill him.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a condition, and he does not survive.
Yeah, keep your cholesterol low, kids.
Yeah, have you ever seen The Grinch 2? No, it's because the Grinch canonically dies immediately after his heart grows 3 sizes.
Wow.
He hears Fahu Foray for about 30 seconds,
Pretty
and then...
sure, like, heart swelling is a condition.
Yeah.
Like, that's
It happens
dangerous.
with testosterone. It kills you.
Jesus Christ.
It's why people on testosterone for bodybuilders, like, don't make it to 50.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have a question for chat. Has anyone taken creatine and had negative side effects?
What?
Well, it's good for putting on muscle, which is what I'm trying to do.
It's really gonna make you bloat. Creatine makes you carry water weight.
Yeah, I already am bloated.
I know, but like it's something that you don't like.
I know, but if I'm like not shooting for 2 weeks, then maybe I can do it for like 2 weeks. You know, and I'm trying to get swole.
RSD
I'm bad
King
at
says
it.
creatine gives you back acne.
Oh, that's not fun.
You already have acne issues. I don't know that you want to risk that.
Not on my back, thankfully.
You have
Yeah. I don't know. Increase your protein intake. I ate an entire plate of turkey bacon for lunch yesterday, okay?
That's not enough.
What do you mean?
Sir Jimmer says you need to eat a lot of water, though, Clars. Sir Jimmer, how do you eat water?
Please.
Great question.
Ice cubes, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. Remember how we had that chemistry talk last week about
no.
The states,
sublimation?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sir Jimmer's drink. There we go. So then we cut over to Kaladin.
Mm-hmm.
Kaladin. Kaladin.
It's Aladdin.
Arabian Nights.
There you go, Blue, in case you didn't win
like
bingo
Arabian Days.
I was going to go with one jump ahead of the bridge line. The bread line. The bridge line. It's bridge 4. Or proud of your boy. Every little boy's like audition song. What?
Is that from Aladdin?
Proud of your boy, yeah.
Oh.
He's like singing that he's gonna make his mommy proud. What? Yeah, have you never?
In the animated movie?
I don't know if it's in the movie.
Oh, is it from the musical?
It might be.
Oh, I don't remember Proud of Your Boy in the musical.
In the musical, it's definitely.
I don't remember it in the movie.
Okay.
I don't remember the musical at all.
Okay,
all I remember is that. Yeah.
I don't know.
The Proud Boys song.
No, don't.
I would love to watch the Proud Boys put on a musical. That would be the funniest shit in the world.
They sing Proud of Your Boy, not realizing that, like, Aladdin is not white.
Yeah. All right. So then Kaladin is like, look, Gaz, here's the deal. I need money. And so he is hanging out outside of the bridge. He's like, hey guys, we're gonna go work out.
Yeah.
We're gonna go put on some
creatine.
fucking. You wanna know what the problem with the bridge is, boys? You wanna know what the problem with the bridge is?
Oh, no.
Problem is those gains, brother. We gotta get them gains going. And everyone else is like, fuck you. And so Kaladin goes and does a little solo workout where he basically like picks up a log and runs back and forth. He picks up a section of a bridge and carries it back and forth. And everyone's just watching him like...
Yeah. New gym workout. Instead of fireman carries, it's bridgeman carries. Yeah.
I mean, I've done that at the gym.
Yeah,
with
there you go.
Person on my back.
There you go. And they, in the background, playing...
Let's get down to business to defeat Parshendi. Dun dun.
Ernest, thank you for that super chat. 10 plus 5 isn't math. It's how you bulk up.
Yeah.
That is straight facts.
I got 10 right here, and I got 5 over here. I lift lighter on my right side because of how much I jack off.
You gotta, like, compensate, right?
Gotta even it out.
Yeah.
My buddy,
sure.
my buddy
Not
was in King Kong the musical on Broadway.
Yeah.
And he lifted one of the paws of Kong, this giant puppet. And lifting the paw was 75 pounds. And so I think it was the left paw. And so he did the math on how much weight he was lifting throughout the show. And he would go to the gym before the show and he would lift that exact amount of weight on his other side because he was worried about doing the show would cause him to like develop. It's actually, we talk about this, one of the first Nerdy Nightly podcast episodes ever was an interview with him before Clarus was a part of the company. Like this was in 2018, back when it was just a podcast where just me and friends on Broadway would come talk about like nerdy Broadway stuff. Yeah. I had one of the Spider-Men on. I had one of the Harry Potter actors on. He was so worried about growing asymmetrically that from lifting the paw in the show that he built a workout for the other half of his body that was basically him like lifting weights awkwardly at the gym and people being like, what is he doing? He's like, he's practicing for King Kong.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just Broadway things. Yeah. All right.
Anyway, so Kaladin works out. And then he goes and gets his money from Gaz, and Gaz gives him the 4 things. He's like, no, I take 5, and then he gives one back, and I loved this moment.
It's a power play.
But no, I loved it because he's like, no, you are not keeping one of mine. I am giving you one. Mm-hmm. I need you to understand that this is not you fucking me. This is me paying you, because it changes the dynamic of their relationship. And I thought it was a great moment for Kaladin.
Oh, for sure. And then he's like, hey, Syl, make sure that Gaz doesn't murder me, just in case. Yeah. You never know. He's shitty as fuck.
Yeah, and so he works out for a few hours, and people watch, and then they go to lunch. And then Syl is like, hey, so I know what death is. Why?
What do I do about that? And that is a question that we ask ourselves every day.
Syl is like, my life was better when I didn't know what death was.
Yeah.
How are you not sad all the time?
Yeah. Yeah, Syl is going through puberty currently. Yeah. And is realizing the impermanence of life. Although...
Not even puberty. She's hit like the 6 years old.
The thing is...
She has object permanence for the first time.
Windspren lives, so I don't know...
She's not a Windspren.
She's some kind of Spren.
Yes, but she's...
or she's from the Feywild.
There is... Maybe.
She might actually be Tinkerbell.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I wonder if this was inspired by Tinkerbell. I wonder if this was his, like, I want to have a Tinkerbell-like thing.
No, it was actually inspired by Legend of Zelda.
By Navi? Ooh, actually, I could see Brandon Sanderson being a Ocarina of Time fan.
Yeah, that's fair.
I could see. He's a real gamer, unlike some people.
Don't know what you're talking about. It's a bad game. Terrible. 2 out of 10. And he was never seen again.
Went to the dealership, got the car, came back in an hour. So we cut back. Chapter 15 is the decoy. What did you think the decoy meant before we reacted to this chapter? Oh, right. You read titles. You didn't have a fucking thought in your head about it.
I don't read chapter titles.
I thought the decoy was going to be the reveal that Sadeas had intentionally made it so that the Chasmfiend came the other way to try and kill the king.
Oh, interesting.
And so I thought that the chapter was going to be a reveal about Sadeas betraying the king by trying to get him killed by the chasm creeper.
Yeah.
That might still be true, but the decoy is actually so much sadder than that, because this chapter is basically Adolin being like, Sadeas is the worst, and his dad being like, no, he's not. He is fucked up because he was the decoy the night that Galavar died. In the prelude, or prologue, when the king runs away and the red Sharpplate guy fights, or the gold Sharpplate guy fights, whatever the color his Sharpplate was. I can't keep the color straight.
The blue one.
When the blue Gavilar. Power Ranger fought...
when Gavilar fought...
Zeth's son,
yes.
Gallivant. The king who ran away was
Sadeas. Yeah.
And that is such a cool fucking reveal. Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah.
Way to go. Like, mwah. Good
Nailed
shit.
It.
Good book. I like this book a lot. It's very good.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that, like, the reveal, and this chapter kind of reveals that they're working together, and that while there is trust with Sadeas, Dalinar and Adolin are also a little concerned because they think that the strap on the girth of the horse broke because it was pre-cut, and that someone is trying to fuck with the king and maybe kill him. And yeah. Amboss says he actually bravely ran away. Yeah, this is like the most brave runaway ever.
Yeah.
Because you think you're going to get, like, fucking murked by Zeth in the back.
Yeah.
You're not running away thinking that you're surviving. And in fact, the sad truth of Sadeas' life is that he survived that day.
Yeah.
Because if he had died, remembered forever.
Yeah.
Like, ride Chrome in the halls of Valhalla. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Morton Joe would fucking spray paint the shit out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And he didn't get to have that. He didn't get this moment of heroism. Instead, he ran away while, I'm assuming, his best friend was murdered behind him.
Well, yeah, like, we find out that later on that the three of them were besties. Like, and that the death of Gavilar, like, just it drove a wedge between the two of them that has become a chasm. Like, they don't understand one another anymore.
Because Dalinar is mad at him for not dying. And even Dalinar acknowledges...
is mad at him for not being sober. So it's yeah.
But Dalinar acknowledges that his anger is stupid. You know what? You know what I mean? He's like, it's irrational.
Oh, yeah, he gets it.
But it is how I feel. And I appreciate characters being irrational, acknowledging when they're irrational in a way that you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, self-awareness... reading people's POV who have no self-awareness I find very frustrating, which I think is why I had some issues reading, like, Nynaeve particularly. But yeah, having Dalinar be like, I feel this way and I acknowledge that, and I also know why, and that it doesn't really make any logical sense, but it's
that there's
how
nothing
I feel.
I can do about it.
Yeah, it's
really
how I
appreciated
feel.
that.
And it's complicated. It sucks.
And so we get a little scene of Elhokar being like, I swear to God someone's trying to kill me. I need you to look into this.
Yeah, you don't believe me. How dare you?
We get Dalinar remembering Gavilar's last words, which were, find the most important words a man can say. And he's like, how the fuck did he write it down?
I didn't know.
How the fuck did he do it?
What is this?
My brother had a terrible secret, and it was that he learned how to read.
Yeah.
This world is nonsense.
Shame on you.
Nonsense.
Yeah. I love that they couldn't read his fucking final words until they ran and got a woman to do it. Like,
I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like for so many reasons, it's so stupid that men in this world can't read. And that's not a ding on the book. I get the fantasy of it, but, like, you couldn't have, like, street signs, which just feels, considering the size of the cities. No,
men
considering
can read
the size.
Pictures. There's, like, glyphs that they
So what? You're gonna fucking have an artist draw artistic fucking things on street? No.
No. Glyphs are like, you know, like a X or something means something. I don't know.
But it's fine that they can't read. But, like, I just feel like, even if I had never learned how to read, if I had just lived for more than, like, 50 years, I think I would have, like, picked it up by accident.
Yeah, at a point you're kind of like, oh, I could spend some time on that.
Like, I don't, And you want to know why I think that? Because I lived in Japan for 4 months, and there was a point like a month in where I was like, oh, I can grocery shop.
Right. I know what this
And it
means.
wasn't intentional. I just looked at enough of that symbol and seen pork to know that symbol, that I don't know what the symbol is. I don't know what the, like, language behind it is, but I'm like, oh, that's pork.
It would be so hard to be a carriage driver in a city as a man because you couldn't read street signs.
Nothing.
You'd have to memorize the map and go based off of that.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like a nightmare. What a terrible idea. Anyways, it's interesting for this world, and like I feel like there's going to be like a reason or an explanation, or even maybe something nefarious behind it. But I just find it hilarious that the king is like, oh my god, the king learned how to write. Like, yes.
Manuko says guys in our world are the same with makeup. I don't know what that means.
With makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Like, you can't read, like, the ingredients, but you're like, I pick up the one that's purple? Is, like, because that also is not good enough. There's so much shit out there when you're buying makeup.
Chad Gascoigne says, I used to drive for a living. You do memorize all the streets in a city pretty quick. Yeah, but how did you learn them?
Yeah, learning it the first time, you'd have to come up with some kind of like association.
I know now that I live off of, I was about to say a funny road name near us, but you would be able to find our house. Fuck. Oh, there is a road in Brampton that I know is called Chingakusi. And I think the word Chingakusi almost sounds like a slur. It feels like a slur in a weird way. It isn't. It's just Chingakusi, and it's just an insane thing that exists.
Yeah.
And it's just people like make TikToks about how funny the street name is. I know that it's called Chingakusi because I read it the first time, and now I don't read that sign anymore because I know that street is Chingakusi. But like, yeah, I don't know. I just think that you would I just feel like you would accidentally know how to read decently well by like year 50 of your life.
Well, it is also one of those things where I can understand the like poorer classes being preoccupied with their labor every day, right?
Yeah.
They have shit to do. They don't have time to read. They're not investing time to read. But I feel like if you are at a certain rank or higher, like you don't have a wife to read for you, you would want to be able to know that no one is manipulating you or trying to fuck you over, or like that you could write letters for yourself. Like, I just feel like for safety reasons that you would want to know that if you had a certain amount of wealth. And
when Dalinar's with his scribe, he's like, yeah, people want me to marry so that I can have a scribe that I trust.
I know,
which is like so crazy. If you were an unmarried man, you are essentially at the will of women. Yeah. That you're hoping have your best interest at heart, but they might have their husband's best interest at heart, and fuck you.
Maybe this is a matriarchy.
No.
The women gatekeep learning how to read.
It definitely is not that.
No, I know. But could you imagine if all the women were like, yeah, no, men don't need to learn how to read.
Yeah, almost says wife equals audiobooks.
What? Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. It's one of those things where I just feel like I would have... I feel like... I do like that people are like glyph... like someone said like Chinese kind of proves that glyphs can describe anything. Guys, all letters are glyphs.
Yeah, they're just different
like the
glyphs.
What is it? The Latin alphabet that we use. Is it Latin? They're all glyphs. There's no difference between kanji and the letter B.
Just more lines or less. Like, yeah. Yeah.
It's all the same shit. I just feel like by being around it enough, you would just accidentally know how to read somewhat.
Yeah.
Anyway, this doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter at all.
It's
I just find it funny that Dalinar is like 50 years old and is like, I don't know what that says. And I'm like, not even by accident?
Yeah.
Not even like a little bit?
Yeah, not even by like osmosis. You haven't absorbed like at least a few letters. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's not a detriment or like a critique of the book. I just find it hilarious. And for someone like fucking Kaladin, who's gonna be a surgeon, how do you learn? What if you are a visual learner? What if you're like me? You can't pay attention if someone's like speaking it. You gotta be looking at it. You're fucked. Mm-hmm. Guess you get to be a farmer. Fuck you. Like, I don't know. It is fascinating. Anyways.
Wait, I just want to bring up this point. Voka says their world is probably less designed around writing than ours is. We can't say that's true, though, because this world is constantly talking about how we read shit to fucking men, because men need to know what's written down. But, it has been a significant plot point of multiple chapters now that it's either surprising that men can read. It is the prologue. The important thing that happens in the prologue is that the king writes shit down, or Zeth writes shit down for the king.
Yeah.
Saying that their culture is less dependent on writing and then having the whole book be about a book is wild. The Way of Kings is a novel.
Yeah.
It is very important.
It's very ironic.
I would just love, there's a famous moment that happened at Nelson Mandela's funeral. And if you've never seen it, I highly recommend. It is a serious moment in human history of an incredible man who did incredible things. And I never want to make light of Nelson Mandela. But Nelson Mandela's funeral is one of the funniest funerals ever because the sign language interpreter did not know sign language and is just doing shit. And if you've never seen it, I highly recommend you watch it. I genuinely think the person should be in prison. Honestly, you fucked up Nelson Mandela's funeral, but that person does not know sign language and they're just doing shit. They might as well be fucking interpretive dancing up there.
It's like when you lied and said you could play the harp.
Yeah, except I did it to sit in the background of a Jeremy fucking Renner scene where he does magic. This person was the sign language interpreter at one of the most important men of the 20th century's funerals and knew that they were going to be on international television and did not know sign language at all. Not even a little bit. You just have to go watch it. It is one of the funniest things I've ever witnessed in my life. At one of the most important, serious events. I think, almost every president and prime minister in the world was at the event.
Yeah.
It's something that, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia would do as a bit on their show. And we'd be like, wow, they really come up with shit that could never happen in real life. And then it happens and you're like, maybe It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia isn't that much of a comedy. Maybe that's just Americans. But yeah.
The Phantom Fail, thank you for that super chat. Nerdy is the Alethi man listening to Stormlight read to him and Claris is reading it. Yes, 100%.
Wait, that's so funny. The woman is reading it and the man's having it read to him. Guys, we could.
Brandon Sanderson was onto something.
Yeah,
you know what?
Maybe he's right.
He's like, men don't read. Brandon Sanderson doesn't read. Actually,
Kate Catastrophe says it's just pre-internet audiobooks. Fair.
Thank you for that super chat. Could you imagine if Brandon Sanderson could not read?
No, I can't. I don't think. Yeah, I feel like writing would be hard.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah, it would be ridiculous.
Anand Awasi says, I've never seen anything with nerdy in background. Please tell me there's something where nerdy's in the background I'd pay to see it. Oh God, there's so much.
There's so many.
Jessica Jones, season 1.
Wolf of Wall Street, Person of Interest.
You can't really make me out in Wolf of Wall Street. Person of Interest, season 3, episode 11.
Yeah.
There's multiple episodes of Smash.
Yeah.
You can watch me make out with a girl in Unforgettable on CBS.
Gossip Girl.
No, you can't really make me out in a lot. Actually, I've never seen an episode of Gossip Girl past the pilot, so maybe I'm more visible than. I'm trying to think. The Big C, with Laura Linney. I'm in that a lot. Pilot of Twisted on ABC Family.
Did your face make it in any of the Marvel stuff or no?
Just Jessica Jones. That's the one we can see the most.
Yeah.
I was in too much makeup on Daredevil and Iron Fist because I was standing in for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway,
that's fair.
There's plenty of stuff.
Yeah.
Go watch Amazon Prime later this year when I don't know if I can say what show it is yet, so soon. And you'll see my penis.
Here's the thing, you've already told people, so I don't know.
I haven't said what show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, thought you had.
No, we made that one joke during the boys' reaction that insinuates, but people will have to figure it out. Anyway.
Interesting.
Sorry, where was it? Someone, Eclipse. Eternal Eclipse says, back to topic, please. Hi. I know that Way of Kings is probably bringing new people into our show. This show is not good. The Nerdy Wordy Book Club is not a professional production. This is a disaster that people show up for every week for some reason. we are very rarely on topic, and I don't want you to leave because I love having you here, but I do.
But we want to set your expectations low. That this is pretty normal.
This is kind of how this goes.
We just have a good time.
Yeah, this show is really about watching us slowly fall apart for 3 hours, and then we spend a week putting ourselves back together to do it again.
That's why Thursday Book Club fucked us up so much.
Yeah, because we didn't have a full week to recover from Friday Book Club.
Exactly, yeah.
So, Eternal Eclipse, we will talk about the whole book, but in between, you will learn a bunch of shit you don't want to know. And
it's a hot mess,
sorry.
but at least it's hot. Thank you.
I really apologize. This shit is awful.
I'm not sorry. You choose to be here.
I am waiting for people to stop showing up. It will be 3 hours of my life I get back every week.
Get out of here. If you could all also actually watch our TTRPG stuff, that would be great.
That shit's way better than this. There's other people in it.
Episode 18 had a 20-minute intro that was utterly unhinged because you just kept making fun of Rob. So...
And he wasn't even there.
No, that's why it was awful. Anyways.
It's so funny because I'm just ripping his ass and he's not in the room.
Not there. Can't defend himself.
I hope you watch it. I hope he shows up tomorrow and is just like...
fuck you, man. Yeah, right?
Did I fix the Expanse Reactions playlist yet? I think I did. I don't know, guys.
Sometimes it's hard to tell and it shows up differently.
They just move around for different people. Yeah. I don't know.
YouTube.
Talk to YouTube about it.
Yeah.
All right. So, Aelin, Dalinar.
They're cleaning up all the people.
So basically, they're just like here for fucking ever because the bridge got destroyed and they have to wait for a bridge to come.
Yeah.
I really thought that this was where Kaladin's bridge was going to show up and they were going to like meet somehow. Nope, not yet.
Nope.
And we get like basically the way that Elhokar makes money. It's not that important yet, but I think it's going to be. So I want to bring it up. Is that he doesn't actually make any money. He takes in taxes for use of soulcasters. So if people want food, wood, anything, they have to pay the king to use his soulcasters for that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely going to be important later. Linus, thank you for that super chat. From Archive Book 5 is, 491,000 words. More than 100,000 longer than Way of Kings. Cool. That's going to be like a 17-part split.
Yeah.
I think POI means person of interest. I believe.
Yeah. Person of interest.
Yeah. It's going to be a long book club.
Yeah. I really wish it was 500. I feel like if Brandon Sanderson wasn't a coward, his book would be 500,000 words.
Made it 500,000 words, but he didn't. Missed opportunity, you know what I'm saying?
I'm going to write a 500,000 word book just to fuck with Brandon Sanderson.
Please do.
And I'm going to call it Brandon Sanderson is a Coward.
Oh my god, I hate it here. Yeah.
Sylvia, if you want to see it, someone posted it in the Discord. So if you just go to the Discord, there's a photo of the scene.
Oh, yes.
You can see my face.
There is a photo, yeah.
I should, put together I should put
compilation?
No, I should put together, a list of all the things that I remember doing, and then seeing if people can find photos of me, and then, put together but make them do the work of finding me and everything.
That's nice of you.
Yeah. And then put it together as an in memoriam of my own extra career over I will remember you.
What are you, an animal shelter?
No, that's In the Arms of an Angel.
Oh, same thing.
I Will Remember You is the song that you put over somebody dying.
That's the same song.
They are not. They're used for different things.
No, they are
In the Arms of an Angel is what you get people to donate to. And I Will Remember You is what you get when you're we don't really have a cause. We don't need your money. We just want to let you know this person died.
Bad, yeah. I love that for all of us.
So then chapter 16, Cocoons.
7.5
years ago, Kaladin. I also feel like the tangents, part of the reason why I'm so comfortable with tangents today is there weren't that many chapters.
No, I mean, there was some really interesting stuff, but there wasn't that many chapters.
Yeah, so I feel like we're good. We've got 5 chapters to talk about, and we've got an hour and 10 minutes. We're so good.
If all your work is in IMDb, then it's pretty easy
No,
to find.
IMDb doesn't cover extras.
Oh, right. That's fair.
IMDb only covers contracts.
No, that's fair.
So, yeah.
That's why The Boys is not in my IMDb.
Yeah. Yeah, your IMDb IMDb doesn't cover things that you were background in unless you add it yourself.
Right. Yeah.
And so
that's just like...
A lot of people do actually add their own extra. Like, you can go say that you're in any movie as an extra. The movies will very rarely take it down. But it's considered a big taboo with casting directors. If they open your IMDb and they see that you have personally added in extra work, it actually makes you look bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, what a weird industry.
It's considered like a big taboo and not to do it. Like your agent will literally like call you and be like, "Hey, don't do this. It looks bad."
Yeah. Because it's like, oh, that's the work that you're getting.
Yeah, it insinuates a caliber about you that, you know,
you don't want.
People have like some negative stereotypes about extras because a lot of them are nut jobs.
Which is, yeah, we've all seen it. Chapter 16. So Kaladin, this is a flashback.
Are you talking about Kaladin?
No, Kaladin. Okay. Kaladin and Laurel.
Laurel.
Laurel is the rich.
Where's your mom, Laurel?
Town. And they're children, but they have a crush on one another because they're going through puberty. Hey, it's fucking weird. But they're friends. They're buddies. They get along really well because Kaladin doesn't really get along with the like farmers. They all see him as kind of like a rich, spoiled boy because he doesn't do manual labor. He does detail work. You know, they don't get it, which like fair. So yeah, he's kind of like, I don't know. He's kind of like brooding. He's like, yeah, my daddy wants me to be a surgeon. He's gonna like pay for it or whatever. And he's like kind of not like happy about it. And then his little brother comes over and gives him a rock. And it makes Kaladin feel better. And I thought it was very cute. He's like, this is dumb. Why does it make me feel better?
And so we learned that Kaladin's from a town where most of the boys his age are already worming. Don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But they do be worming. Yeah. And Colin Jost is worms. Here. Live from SNL. Colin Jost is making some claims about how his dad fought in a war and that his dad would have won a shard play, but he got cheated at the last second. And Kaladin is like, nope. Because
there were no
shard bearers at that fight. And he's like, do you think my dad's a fucking liar, bro? And Kaladin
like, no, I think
wants to say yes.
Dad was mistaken.
Much like Brian Williams and the helicopter incident in the Middle East, he remembered wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, he just remembered wrong. He got a little concussion. It's fine. Don't worry about it. God,
Brian Williams is never going to live that down.
So they get into a little tussle.
Yeah.
And Kaladin feels the thrill of battle for the first time because he picks up a spear, a staff, a stick of some kind. And they just like boop, 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 you know, boop, 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 a doop. Honestly, Kaladin is much smaller, so he gets his ass kicked. But the older boy is like, you know what? Like, you did okay. Kaladin is like, teach me, senpai, please. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that.
I think he says sensei.
No, it's definitely senpai.
No, I don't.
No, it's definitely senpai.
I don't think he says, teach me, senpai.
No, he definitely does. It's in the book, and I will pull out the quote. It is the same thing.
No, Laurel is senpai. Jost is sensei.
No, I think you're wrong, actually.
So you think Kaladin's gay? He got a shaft in his hand for the first time, and he was just all about it.
And he was like, "Oh man, this is hot." He fights and wrestles with a boy, and is like really turned on. That's why he thinks it's directed at Laurel. You know, he's like a little bit like confused, but they're both there, so who knows? Who knows?
Yes. Who
really gave him the tingles, right?
Yeah.
It's puberty. It's confusing. It's a confusing time for all of us.
It's a confusing time for everyone. Wow. Okay. So Kaladin gets a few good hits in. Doesn't give up immediately on taking a first blow. But he gets his ass kicked a little bit. And they go home. And then he finds out that the Bright Lord, the kind of the like Light Eye appointed mayor of the town, and he died. Bright Lord Wistio. And
Whistledown.
Laurel's father, Laurel's daddy, is dead, which means that when Kaladin proposes, who does he ask for the hand in marriage? Right?
That's true.
No dad.
Can't do it
now.
No
dad.
Yeah.
And so Lord Wistio, good dude though, couldn't be saved, but gives a large number of spheres to the family so that Kaladin can go to Cabranth and be trained as a surgeon.
Yeah. Good for him.
This town is called Hearthstone, which is so funny now. Because there's no way that he knew that Blizzard would eventually put out a card game called Hearthstone.
Yeah.
But, like, Kaladin is literally from...
We're never gonna know.
The Magic the Gathering competitor.
Right, yeah.
That is Hearthstone.
Yeah.
But yeah, very cool. Very cool chapter. I like this a lot. I like the fight. I thought the fight was well written. It didn't... You know, sometimes you're like... The kids grow up to be good soldiers, so they have to be good soldiers as kids. But the fight wasn't written as them being great soldiers.
Nah, they just kind of smacked each other a little bit. Like,
it felt really real to me in that way. I liked the relationship between Kaladin and Laurel, and that Laurel spends the beginning of this chapter being like, Kaladin, you need to go win a shard plate at war. You need to go be a soldier.
Yeah.
And then watches him fight and walks away disappointed in him for fighting. And I thought the like reality of that is so interesting, how we hold people up for the idea of war.
Yeah.
But actual violence turns us off.
Yeah.
And that like war is only something that we cheer on in the abstract, but then when it becomes real, we tend to look down upon it, the violence of it.
Yeah.
And it's just a really fascinating, I think that a lot of veterans deal with that, right? With the like, yeah, there's going to be parades on the way to war, but then when you come home, people are going to be disappointed because of what you did. And a lot of people who went to Vietnam to fight for the United States, people who were drafted and didn't have a choice, experienced that, right? The like, I think that Dogfight does a really good job playing with that idea, the musical, of like, and that musical has some issues, but the idea of like you leave thinking that you're coming home to a parade, and when you actually come home, you come home to protesters being like, hey, you murdered people. Like, this wasn't good. And I think that this is the kid version of setting up that theme.
Yeah.
Of like the discussing the honor of war in the abstract, but then when you look at the violence, being kind of disgusted by it.
Well, and I also think that in a way it was slightly manipulative of Laurel, and in a way that I think that they're young enough that it might not be intentional. But
I don't think it's intentional. I think it's a natural response.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah.
And like I wonder how much of Kaladin wanting to become a soldier is him, or is the like pressure of it and the glory of it that they are like it is like ingrained into them. Now he does. Well,
they're also told that it is their religious.
Highest religious calling, exactly. But also like he does pick up a spear for the first time, and he has this. There's like a feeling. Right, a tangible, palpable shift.
Do you think that is him finding out that he's a surge binder but not acknowledging it? I think that he's got magic.
I mean, yes, I do think so as well.
Hello?
Hey, David, sorry to bother you. I just wanted to let you know that your vehicle is all done.
Great.
I sent you a flexible link, so whenever you're done, you can use that link to arrange your ride back here, okay?
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye. Cool.
Yay! The car is alive. It's fine.
Yes. So, I just thought this chapter was great. I thought for the first time we flashed back to Kaladin's past was fine. This time I was like, oh, I needed this. Like, this was a great chapter.
Yeah.
I thought the combat was well written.
Well, you get a moment with Tien.
Yeah. We meet Tien.
Like, that is invaluable in itself. He's like, I don't know what it is about my brother that he can always just make me smile. Even if it's dumb, right?
Yeah, and then he dies.
Catching well, yeah, we don't know how that happened, but yeah.
But we will.
That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, and so then we get a bloody red sunset. Gonna throw this out there. Probably gonna end up being my high of the book. I think that this is definitely the best chapter so far. And Bloody Red Sunset is chef's kiss writing. Well done, Brandon Sanderson. Obviously, I put it in the title of the video today.
Yeah.
This shit fucking rocked. It starts with Kaladin going to an apothecary, which is basically the same thing as...
It's like not like they're not exactly medical supplies, but it's not exactly like an herbalist. It's like a hybrid... kind of thing.
But he's trying to sell like love potions, which is basically like
it's weird.
It's a little weird. It gets a little date rapey.
A little bit.
He's like, you can put this in her drink, and then I was like, okay, Bill Cosby, calm the fuck down.
Chill out, please.
You can put this in a drink. You can do disco sticks.
Oh god, and... yeah. Kaladin is like, wow, this shit's really expensive, and I make 5 chips.
Kaladin is actually there for bandages and antiseptic because he doesn't want to let any more bridge people die. It's a great goal. I don't really understand how bandages are going to save lives in the front line. But like,
I mean, anything.
The second, Anyway, so he buys the bandages, what little he can, and he goes back to the camp, sore from his morning workout. Thank you for that super chat, Johnny Coleman. He's laughing at me saying high of the book.
Thank you.
I'll explain why it's the high of the book later.
All right. Okay.
Even if it isn't the high, it might be the most important moment in the book for me, and I'll explain why when we get to it. He gets back and the horn immediately blows and he's like, God damn it, why did I work out this morning? I'm so tired.
Yeah. The morning bridge crew got off by seconds.
Whitecross says Syl saying Cal should give a potion to Gaz was a love potion. Very funny.
Yeah.
Very funny. It would be nice if he liked you more. And so they start running.
She doesn't get it.
And Kaladin runs at the front because he's now bridge leader, which means that when they get to the final attack, he gets to run at the back. And they get there. They run all the way there. He's tired. And they put the bridge down. And he's looking at the situation. And he's reminded of what his dad said, right? There are people who save lives and there are people who take lives. And he has decided to become a person who saves lives. And so he walks to the front of the bridge for the assault on the Parshendi. They've already gotten there. The Chasmfiend creeper's in its cocoon.
Gonna be a bad one.
And he walks to the front of the bridge. And he walks up to Rock, who is a big... I don't know what his race is. But he's a something. He's basically like an Earth Genasi, I think. And he's like, hey, you're in my spot. I named the video after that. Because this is the moment where I actually was like 100% on board. This moment where Kaladin realizes that he has to earn the respect that he's been kind of demanding for the last 24 hours. This is the moment that hooked me. I was like, because I've enjoyed the book. Like I said last week, I didn't have a real low. I didn't think there's any bad writing in the book. I think it's a well-written, good novel. This was the moment where I went, oh, cool, you got me. I'm on board. I will read the rest of it. I'm really excited. This was the moment this week where I realized that I was fully into the novel. Yeah. And that's why it's the high for me, because, some books never have that. I don't think Warbreaker ever had a moment that fully got me on board. I don't think Elantris ever did. I think Mistbreaker definitely did, or Mistborn early on. But this moment with Kaladin about him living up to the decision that he made at the end of last week's reading and engaging the bridge in this way was my tipping point for this novel. Yeah. That I wasn't 100% sure of, that I felt like was a little slow, that I didn't really see I didn't see what we were doing. Yeah. I really like the Dalinar Adolin stuff, but for me, you're in my spot, and him running at the front of this, now obviously he has magical protection, and we're going to find out what that is later, but for me, it was his decision to run at the front, not knowing that he was going to have magical protection, that really convinced me that this is... that I'm here, that I'm invested, and the book's got me now. Yeah,
that the book's got you, and the character is worth investing in. Yeah, 100%. It was so good. And this is when I was like, God, I gotta keep reading. I don't want to like put this down. And I didn't want to finish the reading as early as I did in the week, but I was just like, oh no, it's over.
For me, like from this moment on Wednesday night, I did not stop reading.
Yeah.
Like I stayed up until 3:30 Wednesday night because I got to this moment, and then I did not stop reading after. Like I would have just probably read until 5 or 6 in the morning. I would have read until I passed out on the beanbag chair downstairs if it weren't for the fact that I literally had to for book club.
Yeah.
And so for me, like this is the moment. Like, and I think that part of it for my taste is that in the opening chapter, we get told that Kaladin is a great leader, and then we see him be a great fighter. I didn't really feel like we got to see him be a great leader. We're just told it a lot.
He's doing signals that we don't understand because we're in a perspective that doesn't have the insight that we're given here, for sure.
And so I think that this is the moment where I get to see him be the great leader that we are told he is in chapter 1. Yeah. As opposed to just Darrett being like, or Dalit being like, he's the fucking he's the guy over and over and over again. And I didn't doubt Dalit. I just like to see it in action, and this was the action.
Yeah, for sure. And then it doesn't just stop there, right? They get to the front. Everyone else in the front row basically gets hit, and mostly die. But like they're like once the bridge is down, instead of like just taking cover, Kaladin decides to try and help the people that he can help. The people who are like wounded that just need
keeps going out.
medical attention, brings them back behind some shelter. It is not just that he puts himself in danger, it's that he does everything in his power to try and make everyone get home safe.
And he puts himself in danger to the point where Rock goes, fucking stop, okay, I will do it.
Yeah.
And Rock, the Horn Eater, which makes me think he's Narg.
All right.
Like our Art of Narg with his like cute face and his droopy tongue. He is like, fucking sit down, you exhausted piece of shit. I will go drag bodies for you to try and save. And so Kaladin is behind this fucking like little Rock doing surgery.
Yeah.
Rock is putting his danger out, his life in danger out on the field trying to bring bodies back.
Danger out. Don't do that.
The moment that the lead up to this, there's a couple of other things in this chapter I want to call out that I thought were fantastic. Kaladin not sitting down. They put the bridge, they push it across as each of the chasms as they're going here. And Kaladin standing at attention at his bridge. And he's getting mocked. These soldiers are making fun of him as they walk by, being like, you fucking bridge boy. And he's like, no, this is my bridge. Treat it right.
Yeah.
Right? You go into battle with a shield. I'm not allowed to have one. This is what I have. I'm going to take care of my equipment. And he calls out the one lieutenant. And he's like, or general, whatever. And he's like,
some guy.
Do you take care of your spear? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he shuts up. He's like, you're right.
Yeah.
Why would I mock you for taking some pride in the only thing you do every day?
Yeah. No, this chapter was immaculate.
He's going to win everybody over. Kaladin's going to be fucking king 3 chapters from now. Everyone's like, God damn, this goddamn dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we get into the post version. 3 people died.
Yeah, Kaladin is not able to save everyone, but he is able to help somewhat.
He's able to save 2 people, but they can't walk. And the rule is that if you can't walk, you get left behind to die. We don't save lives. And Kaladin bribes Gaz to let him keep the bodies. Which leads to this interesting moment of realization for Kaladin, where he gives a sphere to Gaz. One of his last remaining sphere.
Yeah.
And it was the one, when we were at the apothecary earlier, he hands over spheres that when he got them from Gaz the day before, they had been infused with Stormlight, and now they weren't. And when he hands this, he keeps one Stormlight infused mark, and he hands this one to Gaz, and it is now dead as well.
Yeah, Gaz's like, what are you trying to do? And Kaladin's like, I don't know, you must have gave me ones that are like basically out. He's like, no, they were literally infused this morning or yesterday or whatever it was. And Kaladin's like, that's a little strange.
So Kaladin is definitely using Stormlight to magically protect himself from arrows, right?
Yeah. Because, luck only gets you so far.
Yeah.
And just, he got grazed a little bit. He hasn't gone through completely unscathed.
Because I think that he had run out of Stormlight. I don't think he gets grazed until the Stormlight of that one mark had run out.
Oh, okay, interesting. Sure, yeah.
Because it happened right near the end.
Yeah, Kaladin is definitely able to do magic. What that means and how that works, I'm not really sure yet. But there's something.
There's something going on. And I'm gonna find out when I play the Stormlight Archive TTRPG this summer at Gen Con.
I'm gonna fucking beat you up.
I probably actually
tie you to a chair.
I'm gonna be GMing for a company at Gen Con as a standby. So if you are signed up for their tables, I might be your GM. Gonna be a good time. But not Stormlight, a different company that is not spoilers. I promise, it's a different company. But yeah, no, it's great. I love this. They run back. There's a whole thing about how they have to he's like, we'll run back last so that the general doesn't know, Gaz. We're hiding it.
Yeah.
And Syl's heart grew 3 sizes that day because she is
died.
Courage Spren or something. And
honor Spren, I don't know.
I think it's honor Spren, and I think that there's a lot of honor in what he did, so she probably now understands physics or some shit. Chapter 18, the High Prince of War. We start with Adolin here, who is out on a walk. We talked about this already. She's kind of a ditz who doesn't want to she just wants to promenade. Which is a word that Adolin learns in this chapter because he can't read. And so they go to the leather workers, and the leather workers bring up the idea that the leather was cut, but they also say that it could have just been the way a buckle was pressed against it, might have just cut it kind of naturally in a way. So they get evidence that there might have good evidence of foul play, but not enough to say for sure that it was foul play. Just that it leans foul play. And then Adolin is like, all right, maybe instead we will go to the church, but not before a chasm is called. And I think it's the one that Kaladin already ran. I think that this is a weird time thing where this chapter technically takes place after the previous chapter. But we don't know yet. And so we cut over to... Dalinar decides not to go after it because it's just far enough away that Sadeas is going to beat them there because he has the better, bridge. He has the faster bridge people. We cut over to Dalinar, who's with this scribe. So we actually already kind of talked about this one as well. They're on the... basically, Dalinar is having his scribes look into the king's books to see if the other high princes are paying. And he comes up with a system to sell the king on where basically if the other high princes pay in advance, which is what they're supposed to be doing already, they will get a discount on future things. Yeah. Which I think is really smart because some of the high princes are falling behind on their payments because... they're getting too comfortable. Yeah,
because they can't be bothered, basically.
I do think Teshav is probably going to become important later on. But, I don't know. It's the scribe for now.
Maybe, yeah.
And, yeah, this is where we get the great scene between Dalinar and Renarin, where Renarin is basically like, I'm fucking useless. And Dalinar is like, you're not useless. You just need superpowers. If I get superpowers, I will give them to you.
Yeah. That seems reasonable.
It's also where we find out that the Parshendi have shards of their own.
Yes.
And that is where Adolin's shard plate came from, was that Dalinar won it in battle on the Shattered Plains, and that he gave the first set that he won to his son, and that if he wins another set, he will give it to Renarin.
No, he gave it to the king, Elhokar. Adolin has had his shard plate for 10 years. No, Elhokar is in his dad's plate. Nope. Adolin has had his plate for 10 years. Dalinar is the first person to have captured a Parshendi shard plate and sword, and he gifted it to Elhokar to give to the strongest warrior.
So wait, what happened to Galavar's plate then?
Gavilar?
Gavilar's plate. And shard blade.
I don't know. I'm not sure who has Gavilar's. I don't think that that's mentioned. Or Elhokar has it. It's just repainted from blue to gold.
Oh, Elhokar has multiple sets. Okay.
I mean, yeah, he's the king. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Adolin, got it from...
Oh, Adolin got it... No, wait, that is in the book. Adolin got it from his mother's side. That's right.
Yeah, but no, the first one that Dalinar got, he gave to the king, right? As a gift to make sure that the war goes better, and he says, who will begrudge me taking one thing for myself? You know, we've been fighting for 6 years. I can make a gift to my son. As a very not selfish person... he promises that the next time he captures shard plate, shard blade, that he will give it to Renarin, because if he has that set of armor, it will negate his blood weakness, which I don't know if that's asthma or if that's
sickle cell.
Yeah, it could be. It could be anything.
I thought this made sense. I definitely was fully on board with the idea that putting Renarin in plate would alleviate. Hey, happy 20th, Emerson! Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
I putting him in plate, the magic plate would help with his issues, right?
Yeah, I mean it is magic and it boosts you as a person. It is literally a boost.
I hope he gets it. I want to see. I just hope when he gets it, it isn't his brother's.
Oh God, that's dark.
I know. There's a part of me that's I think Renarin might end up in Adolin or in Dalinar's plate.
Yeah. That's the one thing is Dalinar I hope doesn't die because I think his visions are very important.
Yeah.
But the problem is I think if he does die that they're going to go to Adolin.
I don't think Dalinar survives the series.
No.
I don't think he makes it through all 10 books.
No.
Although it's.
I don't think so.
When he's only written 5, so he's a little halfway there. But
Jake, thank you. Welcome back to the Nerd Table. Discovered you guys halfway through the Mistborn trilogy, and book club has become one of my things I look forward to most each week. Welcome on in.
Honestly, same. I wasn't really here until halfway through the Mistborn trilogy either.
Hey,
but now I love it.
We were here, and then we kind of, fell off the wagon. We didn't love certain things, but it's fine. It's fine. Mistborn, it brought us together, and truly one of my favorite series that I've read. That trilogy, immaculate.
Mossburbs, thank you for the follow over on Twitch. We do YouTube and Twitch. We're on both.
Hey.
Thank you so much for following. All right, so we cut back to Adolin, who seeks out Kadash, and Janala's like, look, I got titties, and if you're not going to pay attention to my titties, I will find a man who will. So she fucks off. And then Kadash and Dalinar have a really, weirdly interesting conversation about how, their religion is anti-prophecy, but they know that prophecies exist in this world, and that the religion, just doesn't want to acknowledge them.
Because of the, history of the church, where they, pretended to all have prophecy so that they could keep other people in the dark.
Yeah.
Very reminiscent of, medieval times.
And very reminiscent of my feelings about prophecy in books.
Sure, yeah. I
was like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
If there is a prophecy, just don't talk about it. We don't need to know.
Yeah. This was actually a fascinating conversation.
Really enjoyed it. I like Kadash.
Yeah,
I like him.
He comes back.
I like him being honest and open-minded in his faith enough to not immediately just and partly because Adolin's royalty, but also just because I think there's something really interesting about the prince the priest that is like, all right, look, here's the real deal. All right, yeah, I know some of it's bullshit, but.
Well, he doesn't.
We kind of have to go along with it mostly.
He doesn't know that there are such things as real visions.
Sure, yeah, that's true.
So that's that's all just going to be subjective. But he does say that these visions, maybe he's not necessarily going mad. He's just suffering from PTSD.
Yeah.
Which okay.
He's an interesting priest. I'm excited to see more of him.
Yeah.
We cut back to Dalinar, who's talking to Elhokar and is like, hey, are we gonna stop fighting soon? And Elhokar's like, no, are you a fucking coward? And he's like,
this war just isn't really about revenge anymore. It's about you guys getting rich. It's a little bit weird.
And so he brings up that in the days before this version of the Alethi Kingdom, they used to have each high priest had a role.
High prince.
Sorry, high prince.
Yeah.
Same word. And he's like, make me the high prince of war. Let's actually try and beat them. Let's win.
Yeah, let's not just fucking linger here.
And so Elhokar's like, you know what? If you can convince me that they'll work together, I will let you do that.
Yeah.
And so Dalinar and Renarin are heading back to camp, scheming a way that they're going to convince the prince to let him become the high prince of war. But before that can happen, it's high storm time.
It's high storm time.
Surprise storm. They barely get inside.
No one ever expects a high storm, okay?
They barely get inside a stone building.
Yeah. He's like, no, we can make it home. And Renarin's like,
nah, it's here. And
those things are sudden.
Instead of us waiting out the storm, we go back to the future. No, back in time. To a day. Many, 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 many moons ago. In a kingdom not so different from our own. Dalinar finds himself in a hovel. Mm-hmm. With no shard plate, no weapon. And he finds a little girl there being attacked by an oily creature that definitely...
Midnight Essence.
Yeah, Midnight Essence. And he
by Armani.
Grabs that girl and runs back to the home that he finds nearby. And he's like, oh my god, wait, this is my wife? My wife?
My wife.
And it's not. It is a woman who thinks that he's her husband, but he isn't. And the creatures keep attacking. He pulls out a poker, a fire poker, the weapon that we find. He keeps remarking, and he's like, wow, this is such ancient technology. There's no stormlight. Yeah. They use actual oil for lamps. This is crazy. Who the fuck are these people?
There's fire?
And then we get, the raddest shit ever.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
He is like murdering things with a fire poker. His wife is like, how the fuck do you know how to do that? And
It's
then
like,
Iron Man comes
it.
down from the sky.
Pretty much.
Literally like pulls out a shard blade. Then like Rescue comes down next to him. And
it's they're about to die.
Robert Downey Jr. and fucking Gwyneth Paltrow in suits of armor just murking shit.
They get healed. They literally are just like, oh, and you're good now. And it's just like, boom.
Yeah, they heal with Stormlight. This was rad. This was so rad.
Yeah.
And Dalinar, like, is so shook the whole time, and it's just great. Like, if it weren't for how important emotionally the Kaladin stuff was, this would be the high of the week for me.
For sure. Yeah.
But the whole fight is so cool. The fact that Dalinar has, like, a smoke form that he's using, and that the Knights Radiant they're like, you fight with a style I've never seen before.
Because you're from the future.
And they're like, it's the 8th epoch, 337 or something like that. And
I don't know what that means.
We get so much like weird lore here that I'm not going to understand forever, because they're like, no, those aren't Voidbringers, those are Midnight Essence, which is like, what the fuck does that mean?
Fire Armani. I made that joke earlier, I guess you didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it the first time. It's this...
Oh my god.
They name drop a bunch of shit that means nothing.
It
but
will mean something eventually.
You have to go to Urethra to get trained as a Radiant, which is why I know that the Radiants aren't the 10. It's because they're like, you can train as one of us in Urethra.
But you're not the Heralds have to be the 10. I think so.
But this is where I am 100% certain that there are more than 10 shard blades and more than 10 shard plates.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the Knights of Urethra you can train as one. And so it's not like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there. When we first read the beginning, I was like, "Oh, there's like 10."
I thought there were going to be
blades.
10 suits of armor and 10 swords the whole series.
Yeah, no, that's not
and that there would actually be 9 because the one is like in. But there are clearly
no, there's a bunch
because the Parshendi have some, and now like the king has more than one.
Yeah,
there has to be more than one.
Yeah, no, there's a ton. I don't know where they come from, how they're made, anything like that.
Stormlight gets Urethra to compete with Clitoris Island from Wheel of Time. That's true.
Oh my god.
That's true. North Harbor. Gotta love North Harbor. It's a hard place to find, but once you're there, you're family. They are the knights who say pee.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. We get a bunch of information here that will be good earlier.
I do wonder how much time travel is going to be in the series.
The one thing I took a picture of.
Yeah.
And we already passed it, but it's fine.
Okay.
I took a picture of it because I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah.
That the first section of this book has like people's final death words.
Yes.
And that when Kaladin is trying to save Gadol, he has like...
Gaidal Kane?
Yes, Gaidal is dying and going back to Tel'aran'rhiod. Has like a final like death prophecy kind of thing.
What is it?
They break the land itself. They want it, but in their rage, they will destroy it. Like the jealous man burns his rich things rather than let them be taken by his enemies, they come.
Right.
Which, I was like, this has to be relevant somehow, and it has to connect to there has to be a reason for the death words, obviously, because they were all recorded at the beginnings of chapters earlier. So...
None of them felt very prophetic. Like, this one feels so much more prophetic than those ones.
Yeah, no.
But there must be a reason. I'm assuming it's like the Ardents are collecting them or something. Because they say collected. So it's got to be a religious thing. Right?
Yeah. And it's also, they break the land itself. They want it, but in their rage, they will destroy it.
Christian Rapper, no. I'm not talking about the narrative jumping around. There's literal time travel in this. Dalinar time travels in this chapter.
Yeah, he like inhabits someone's body. It's
like it's the time travel from oh my god, the TV show where he like inhabits a body in different time periods. What is that show called? It's not Point Break. It's Quantum Leap. Thank you. Yeah, it's Quantum Leap time travel.
Okay. Yeah, I like, part of me is thinking that the they is actually the Alethi, But
it is not astral projection. Astral projection is when you project your like spirit somewhere else. This is quantum leap.
What? Yeah, because it doesn't really seem intentional, but I don't know.
Yeah, astral projection is like projecting your astral self somewhere. This is accidental quantum leaping.
Do they have astral selves?
Does that mean Dean Stockwell's going to turn up soon? I hope so. But Christian Rapper, he's not reliving past events. That's what's important about it. It's Assassin's Creed. It kind of is Assassin's Creed. Because here's what's important.
Yeah.
So in Assassin's Creed, which would be like reliving past events, the what Assassin's Creed's like whole thing is that Dennis, what's the fucking guy's name? Donnie? Who's the lead in Assassin's Creed? He goes back and can't change anything in the past. He is just reliving the past. Mm-hmm. But Dalinar is actually changing the words. Desmond, thank you. I knew it was a fucking D something. I love those games. I'm dyslexic. Dalinar is having a conversation in the past that did not happen. So it is time travel, right? The modern day dude that no one cares about? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I think that they
Astral
is
Quantum
either
Leap? Yeah, I would accept Astral Quantum Leap.
I think that the they is either the Alethi or the Voidbringers.
What?
Yeah.
The they?
Yeah, in the prophecy.
I don't think it's either. I think it's something else. I think the Voidbringers are an agent of whatever it is. I don't think we know what the big bad is yet. I think the Voidbringers are the fades of whatever the big bad is.
I feel like the Midnight Essence was.
No, those are the Nargs. Those are the Trollocs. I think the Voidbringers are like the step up, and then there's like Earth Changers, which are the big boys, and then there's gonna be like a Sauron at the top.
What are Earth Changers?
It's the big like giant thing that he walks past the body of in the prelude.
The Thunderclass?
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. These are all just like enemies underneath whatever the fucking Morgoth of this universe is.
Alright.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Voidbringers are going to be bad, but I don't think they're going to be... I think they're going to be fightable, whereas I feel like there's a big bad something.
Right.
That is like at the apex of whatever this combat is. The thing that's been locked away.
Locked away?
Yeah, because I'm assuming that when it loses, it gets locked away. I'm assuming that the 10 heralds get locked into the waiting dream to keep that thing back for as long as possible. It slowly breaks out, and then they have to come back and be heralds of locking whatever the big bad of the story is going to be back away. I don't think that they would go to the waiting dream for thousands of years to be tortured if they weren't there with something.
With something?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, I think that they are imprisoned with the big bad somewhere, and the torture is holding him back from the world.
Okay.
We just don't know what the name of that thing is yet.
Yeah.
Which we'll find out in Patrick Rothfuss's third Name of the Wind book, coming.
Maybe? It was just the whole, like, jealous man burns his stuff.
The Name of the Wind is Syl. I figured it out, Patrick Rothfuss. You can finish your book now.
You're welcome.
Or just write the chapter that you owe people for all the money they donated to charity.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. The, like, jealousy part is kind of what gets me, because I don't really know.
Jealousy?
Yeah.
What jealousy?
In the thing that I read. Do I need to read it again?
Read the jealousy part again.
Like, the jealous man that burns his riches rather than let them be taken by his enemies, they come.
That complicates it being the bad guy.
I mean, they're definitely, like, there's definitely got to be, like...
That might reference the heralds.
The heralds are coming to burn everything to the ground so that the people of the world... No. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, but it might be the like idea of like we have to destroy it so that we don't have to keep saving it. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't know, but I feel like it is important.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. It is interesting though. You are right. The jealousy part does kind of make it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dalinar is like cool. I think he kind of figures it out. But then as that he's in the past, sort of, because they bring up like the country that the Shattered Plains used to be.
Yeah.
And then that voice comes back in the back of his head, the voice that he thinks is God, telling him to unite them. Who do you think it actually is?
The voice?
Yeah. I think it might be Kalak.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say maybe it's the 10th that they left behind.
Oh, it could be him, yeah.
But it's got to be something like that, right?
It's like Tenzin or whatever. No,
yeah.
Tenzin is Aang's son from Avatar.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen Korra, and I know that his name's Tenzin. Yeah, and so then
Laurel,
Taffa, and Seely, the wife and daughter, survive. And we meet 2 Knights Radiant, who I think will come back.
Yeah, I feel like if this is the only like High Storm vision we get, that would be so sad.
It'd
because
be so
it was
shocking.
Really, really cool. But because it's so cool, it might be the only one. So I don't know.
The Dalinar's like, hey, I need you to help me. Voice, I need more than just unite them. And the voice is like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, actually. I'll try. And then he wakes up.
Well, no, he's like, okay, do I trust Sadeas? And he's like, oh, yes, actually,
yeah.
you, like, must. That is the most important. And I was like, that seems really suspicious.
Yeah, King's dead. And Sadeas is going to be behind it. Chapter 20, Scarlet, 7 years ago. Kaladin is doing surgery on a girl because she's dying.
She fell.
She dies.
Yeah.
And then his dad is like, hey, you can't save everyone, kid. Buckle up.
He tries
Life's like
so
that
hard, and it's so sad. And then she just dies. And I was like, oh, what a place to leave off this week's reading.
And that's kind of it.
Yeah.
It's a great scene. His dad is a fucking boss. But
yeah,
this
he's
chapter
doing
is
his best.
Literally 5 minutes in the audiobook.
I know.
It's so short.
Fast.
Yeah, I am fully on board. I really liked this week's reading.
Yeah.
And like there was nothing technically wrong with last week's reading.
No,
right?
It was just a lot.
It was a lot, and it didn't emotionally get me.
Yeah.
Whereas like this week's reading, I feel like I'm really emotionally invested in this story now, and I think that that's what you want this, 15% to 30% of the book to be, right? Is like really like hooking you in, making sure that you care.
Mm-hmm.
And like I really give a shit about Kaladin. I like Rock a lot. Like I said last week, like if we're gonna stick with Bridge 4, I need to care about the other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Syl. Like her like gaining sentience is fascinating to watch.
Yeah. And I thought this week's reading was great. I'm excited to finish part 2. I'm curious to go back to Shalyn now and feel if it is, and see like how her narrative growth helps me get into her character as well.
Yeah.
And I hope that it does. I hope that her storyline can become as interesting to me as the rest of it is. Mm-hmm. I just really care about what's going on the Shattered Plains, and I don't know that I care right now about the rest of the world at the moment.
Yeah. And
so I hope that the book, when we do finally get back to her in 200 pages or whenever she comes back, because she's not in part 2, which is so fascinating.
Yeah.
I might have to go back and like read her part 1 chapters before I get back into her.
There's not a ton there, though.
I know, it'll just have been weeks since.
Yeah.
But, we won't read it. I don't think we get any Shalyn this week. So by the time we read her, I don't think so. Because don't we go to interludes again?
Great question. We're going to pull out our little split here.
So this week we're reading from chapter 1 to interlude 6.
Chapter 21.
Sorry, chapter 21. And then I'm assuming the interludes, so part 3
starts there. Oh, okay.
Is that next section. So we won't.
Gotcha.
We're not going to read about Shalyn until after next Friday again.
Right.
By the time we read her, it will have been over 2 weeks since I've read.
If she's even in the next section, who knows?
And like she might show up as a background character in the rest of part 2. Like, I don't know that yet.
Yeah.
But it is just it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see if like I can like get back on board with her, or get on board with her for the first time in a book where I'm on board with everything else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I even like Jasna a lot. It's really just Shalyn that I'm like, I want to know why I should care about her succeeding.
Yeah.
Or care about her as a person.
Yeah.
And
yeah, because right now her story just feels like so much less exciting because it's like I need to steal a thing.
It's also she's very selfish, and our other main characters are. I mean, Adolin is kind of selfish a little bit too, but I think that he has his best interest, other people's best interest at heart. But Dalinar is very much like, I need to unite everybody. I want to be a better leader. I don't want to use the bridge crews the way Sadis does. And then Kaladin is like, we have these like two paragons of like this moral virtue, and then Shalyn is a thief. And so it's you need to like.
She's trying to save her family. But
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I'm just curious about like how you balance my interest in her success against these other characters who I feel like are built up so well for me to like be invested in their plots.
Yes, 100%. No, I hear you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but reading up until interlude 6 next week.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be some good shit.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually very much looking forward to it. Like I said, I was like, I didn't want to put the book down. I was looking forward to like a full-size chapter at the end of this, and it was like 2 pages, and I was like, no! I wanted more!
Yeah. Do you think that Jasna goes back to the Shattered Plains like Dalinar wants, or do you think she stays away?
Right now, I can't imagine a reason that she would have to, unless she is also of the mind that the war needs to end and that they need to come home. And so I could see her and...
to help her dad end it?
Yes. Linus, thank you so much for 10 gifted memberships.
Thank you for 10 gifted membos.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there are going to be 2 chapter reactions this week, 27, 28. So for all the membership people, enjoy those. I know we will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this book. I'm in.
Yeah.
It's given me not the same vibes as Mistborn, but it's given me the same like I'm enjoying it vibes that I got from Mistborn and that I got from like early Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
I feel
the investment level is there.
I'm like we as invested as I think that I was in book 2 of Wheel of Time, which is when I started to be like, oh shit, it's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm digging it. I'm really digging it. I thought I like Dalinar a lot. I like, morally conflicted daddies. Good character trope. I'm into them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of hope that Jasna does come to the Shattered Plains because I think that would be a really interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
And then having Shalyn there and maybe not even being a POV character or more being POV from the sidelines and like observing how because they say that the Alethi like are kind of like schemers and plotters in a way.
Yeah.
And so like watching that from the outside as a person who's been locked in her room her whole life, I think that would be really an interesting way for us to get like the eyes on of her lessons. At least in like politics. So I don't know, yeah. 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 It's good shit. Yeah, it is.
Is there anything is there anything we skipped over that we missed that was important this week?
I don't know.
Oh, one thing I don't know yet is you can summon your shard blade, but can you summon your shard plate? Because in the flashback, the helmets keep appearing and disappearing. And Dalinar is commenting on the fact. So I think that like they don't know how to, but I think that it is possible for you to have your shard plate on you at all times, but not be wearing it.
So
somehow.
My idea is that those people in the flashback are also casters as well as bearers.
Okay.
Which is why their shard plate looks differently and like acts differently. And I think that like the shard plate has become almost less impressive over time because people don't know how to use it properly. Like there's like knowledge that has been lost somewhere along the line.
I just feel like Zeth not being a shard plate wearer, not because he obviously couldn't afford it, but him being like, even if I had, I wouldn't use it because then I couldn't surge bind. But if you can boop in and out of the armor, you could be a surge binder who surge binds into the fight and then boops armor on.
That's why I think that there has to be a way to make them work in tandem. And maybe in a way that still has drawbacks, which I think obviously like limitations are very interesting. But the shard plate in the past definitely works different. It's not painted. It's more impressive. Yeah, it like boops in and out. There's definitely a big difference in it there, and I wonder if it is just lost knowledge or if what they think is shard plate isn't like full shard plate. But I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I can't wait to find out.
Yeah.
This week's reading is gonna be interesting. It's fun that like this is gonna be the end of part 2. Like. Because Starfall's kind of felt like the end of a part.
Oh yes.
And so obviously the flashback didn't really. It was like important for Cal's stuff, but like it wasn't that important narratively. Really good like character moment and short and like sweet and to the point. Yeah. But like Starfall's felt like this is the end of part 2. And so I wonder what the rest of part 2 has narratively that ties into what we've seen. Like I wonder if we get some more fighting or I don't know. I'm really curious. I like I like this world. I'm on board. I'm really into it. Yeah. Should we do high-low?
Let's do it.
All right. This is the section where we do what my family did when I was growing up. We're blending, where we commiserate over each other's lows, celebrate each other's highs, so that we can become closer as a family. And Clarissa and I are family because we are married. Unfortunately for her, you really fucked up. But Clarissa always goes first because you guys care more about her than you do about me.
Because I'm always right. So.
And then I go second. I do my low. She does her low. I do my high. This is a compliment sandwich that we give to Brandon Sanderson every week. And so, Clarissa, I want to start with, what is your high?
My high is the flashback. It was such a cool moment. I felt so immersed. And, like, we got a lot of information that I don't understand yet, but like I understand what the importance is going to be, and I'm really, really excited to figure that out. And I thought the action in it was really fucking cool as well. Like it was just a well-written chapter. What is your low?
I think this book is very good, and I like it a lot. And I don't have a specific low. I do not think the pacing of this book is perfect.
Sure.
And I think that some of like the switches can be a little random.
Yeah.
And I think that the writing is good enough that it overcomes that as an issue.
Yeah.
But if there is like any like negative about the book, I think the pacing is just a little bit the pacing makes me feel the book's length more than I want it to. More than the action or the character work does.
Yeah.
And so that would be my only low. It's not a big one. You know what I mean?
No, that's fair. I think that my low is the, like, I don't know. I guess just kind of, like, having, like, I guess, like, Adolin, like, just hanging out with that girl for her to be, like, kind of, like nagging him. Just felt like the purpose of it was not something that I understood, except to be, like, Adolin's kind of, like,
he has bad taste in women.
Well, or that, like, I don't know, he's seeing a lot of different women, and he's like, it's never my fault, except for that one time. It's just a little weird. I don't get it.
Yeah.
So that's my low, and it's a pretty minimal low, I think, considering. Jabroni, thank you so much for that super chat. My high is Wit's insulting Sadius. That was great.
We didn't really talk about him because we got into the Hoyt of it all so fast.
Well, and we also
should talk about Wit.
To it.
But we should talk about Wit. Wit is the king's jester who's allowed to make fun of people because the king shouldn't debase himself by doing so. And Wit is great. Wit is also one of my favorite moments from this week. It's not my high, but it is one of my favorite moments. Is actually Wit making fun of Renarin. And then Dalinar, like, being like, hey, don't do that to my son. And Wit being like, no, you need to stop treating him with kid gloves. He's stronger than you think.
Yeah.
Like, I made fun of him because he can take it.
Yeah.
And if he couldn't, I wouldn't. He's like, I'm not an asshole.
Yeah.
I just have more faith in your son than you do. And I thought that moment was really great.
Yes, 100%.
Like, I think that moment was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think that the wit of it all, I'm excited to see how important they become. Because I feel like there's something that they're going to throw out there that I think is going to be really cool.
Oh, God, I hope so.
Yeah.
Arzu, thank you as well for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Nothing ridiculous. You know what's not ridiculous, Arzu? my high, which is Kaladin.
Yeah,
chapter 17. Maybe my favorite chapter since Mistborn.
Yeah.
Since the Mistborn books, which had some banger chapters too.
Yeah.
Chapter 17 is the best chapter of the book so far. It is my favorite moment. It's the moment I knew that I was in on the book.
Yeah.
And
There's so much in it that's good too.
I'm just there. I'm just here for it now. And it was a really successful hook to get me fully on board. And the moment, like, you're in my spot is just, you know, it's the on your left of this one, and I loved it.
That's fair. Yeah, no, it was great. It was a fucking banger. Linus, thank you so much for that super chat. Remember, you can always kill Wit since it's legal. That is true, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's Hoyd, and I feel like he can't die. I feel like he might be the immortal that they talk about in the letter.
Oh my god, can you imagine? You try and kill Wit, right? Because it's legal, but you also, like, lose all your titles. And so Wit comes back and is like, yeah, this person tried to kill me. And it's like, oh, well, is attempted murder still make you lose all your lordship and lands? I don't know.
Light Blinded Fool, thank you for joining the Nards.
Welcome back.
The book is not witless, thankfully.
Thankfully.
It is not.
Yeah, no, it's been a good time.
Judah Canizares said, thank you for that super chat, Shard Plate Bearer versus Mistborn.
Do they only have Shard Plate, or do they also have a Shard Blade?
Yeah, that's a big difference. Because I think that Shard Plate on its own, I would take the Mistborn.
Yeah, but well, here's the thing. The blade isn't that special other than that it's really light, and it just, like, immediately kills the thing that it touches.
But it's a weapon that isn't metal. If you're using a shard plate, what are you attacking with? Just fists? Like, you're going to get that close to a Mistborn who can basically fly?
Is it metal?
Yeah, I would take the Mistborn.
Is the plate metal? Here's the thing. If a Mistborn can affect your shard plate, you're kind of fucked.
I don't think it would work that way because it is living. It is sentient enough to, like, heal.
Oh, you mean the actual plate? I don't know.
Shard plate, it can't be metal because it, like, grows, which isn't how metal functions. I don't think that it would work.
Metal also doesn't really let you see the future, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think that depends on whether or not it's affected by a Mistborn, because that...
Yeah, it depends on that. It also just depends on, like... No, that's kind of the big one, right? It's also, do they have a sword? Because I feel like the sword would be... I don't know. I feel like the Mistborn just crushes that, honestly.
Maybe.
Unless they don't have metal. Like, a Mistborn would need... a fully equipped Mistborn versus a fully equipped Shardbearer, I'm taking the Mistborn. They move too fast. Oh, and if they've got Atium, then the Mistborn obviously wins, right?
I mean, yeah. Morris says, Primnon, thank you so much for that super duper chat. Let's go.
Yeah.
Really glad you guys loved this week. I was a little worried last week when you said, Brando, maybe there's too many no POVs and weren't sure if you'd like the direction Kaladin's story was going. You'll love the rest, I think. I think so, too. I think that the direction is something that we're enjoying. Like, I see the trajectory of this book. Even though I don't really know... I still don't know what the end game looks like for this book. Like, you know, unite them is so nebulous.
Yeah.
That
I don't think that happens in this book.
Well, and that's the thing is, I don't know, like, what the outline of this book looks like. But I'm so here for the ride. I think that it's really well written. Like you said, pacing might be a little slow in spots, but I'm invested, and that's what matters.
I don't hate books about noble characters. I just found... The introduction of this book was weighted by my disappointment with the end of Warbreaker.
Yeah.
In Vivenna just fucking off and not using what she learned to go make her country better. Like, I was a little bit worried with the direction that Elantris and Warbreaker kind of took Brandon's view of nobles and, like, their kind of, like, passive ignorance of the people who work for them. And I think what Dalinar does so well as a character is... frame this High Prince, who is in a huge position of privilege, as being a character who is deeply interested in making things better for people, right? Is deeply interested in the kingdom beyond just the noble pageantry and the stuff at the top.
Yeah.
And I thought that Dalinar really undid my concern that Shallan brought to the book.
Yeah, for sure.
And that even if Shallan is still that character, at least I know that not all the nobles are sort of, like, aloof in the way that I felt like they kind of were in Warbreaker. And they definitely were in Elantris. And I'm grateful for that. You know, I don't think I don't love Elantris or Warbreaker. I think they're both fine, but there's so many authors that have bad books. Like, it's not, and I don't think either of those are really that bad.
Yeah.
And so I think that, like, Brandon Sanderson, obviously, I think the Mistborn trilogy is a masterpiece. I think it just works. I think it's fantastic. And this, I'm starting to get those early Mistborn vibes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super on board. I'm super on board with where this is going. I hope that it has interesting endings. And I hope that it doesn't Sanderlanche in the way that I felt like Elantris and Warbreaker fell apart in the Sanderlanche. Whereas I thought that Mistborn always held together really well through that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that that's kind of it, right? I think that Brandon Sanderson is an author that loves to do this thing where he sets up and sets up and sets up and sets up, and then he knocks the dominoes down. And in the Mistborn books, that domino moment always felt so neat. Yeah. It was like a bow that, like, perfectly tied together at the end.
Yeah.
And in, like, Elantris, in the middle of the Sanderlanche, I'm like, wait, so the king is just
got it all messy,
murdering women in the sewer? Okay. And also, like, the other country sending its people to attack a month early just cause.
For fun.
And, like, it just felt like I don't understand why. I couldn't put together the why of what was happening. I understood what was happening, but the why just didn't really make sense.
Yeah.
And in Mistborn, the why of these characters' actions always made sense. And so I'm hopeful that this leans more towards that, because I think that we have a great start. Like, this could end up being better than Mistborn. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know, because I love those books, but I do feel like the potential's there in a way that I didn't feel at this point in Elantris or Warbreaker.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. No, I'm so freaking excited to go read.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys for an amazing book club.
This was fun. This was a good one. If you like the video, like, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave me comments down below, because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is... Syl.
Is Syl a woman?
Yeah. She's she appears to him as, like, a hot Lady Tinkerbell.
Syl is like a spirit that can change forms.
Yeah, but her favorite form is, like, a hot little lady.
Is that because it's what she thinks Kaladin would approve of, or is that because it's what she feels her form should be? I don't know. I don't know enough about her yet.
I don't know, but let's say Syl, because there weren't really any other women in the...
That's fair.
This episode is on all podcast feeds. Y'all, if you could please go give a 5-star review on a podcast feed.
Let's do it.
Just go to Apple Podcasts and do it. It'll take you 5 seconds. It'll help us. We'll read them sometime.
Yeah.
We will, if we get new ones.
Yes.
Yeah, we've read all the ones that are up there that last time I looked.
Yeah,
so,
say whatever you want.
A 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify is huge for us. And I would really, it would mean the world. Tomorrow, we will be live with Astral Dusk. It is session 20. Guys, we're 20 sessions in. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Caligero Moonfire, my Cal, not this Cal, is
Cal.
with an ogre shaman in a building that is on fire, and we don't know why. Yep. So come check that out.
It's going to be unhinged, so if you like the unhingedness of book club, you know what? There's similar vibes over for Dragonlance.
And the finale of Candela Obscura Circle of the Emerald Vale goes live on Wednesday night next week. If you watch one episode a day from here until then, you will be caught up just in time to watch the end of the wing ship and everything that happens in the bowels of the thinning underneath the hotel. Definitely recommend checking that out. It is fun. We had a great time making that.
And our costumes were great. So.
Shall we do Smut Corner?
Yeah, get out of here.
Because we have adults. We can talk smut.
Yeah. Well.
I think that Kaladin and Syl fuck.
How?
In the same way that, like, people who make, like, hentai porn always have Tinkerbell get fucked by Peter Pan.
How?
I think she, like, gathers in, like, the energy of a bunch of, like, horny friends nearby to, like, make herself bigger, and then he, like, fucks her like a fleshlight.
Literally how? Where do her legs go?
But she can change her shape, so she could, like, literally become mostly pussy.
No.
I think that Syl is like, no, because she understands death, and then she understands physics. And so I think that, like, he is honorable enough that she understands the pleasure of sex and turns herself into a fleshlight so that he can get off.
No. This.
And then, like, Blue Mountain State, everybody fucks her, and then they all get gonorrhea.
This is the worst thing you've ever said.
There's no way this is the worst thing I've ever said. It's not even close to the worst thing I've ever said.
The worst thing you've ever said.
It's not even top 10 of the worst things I've ever said.
No, it is. Can fully guarantee that. I hate it.
You don't like fleshlights?
I've never used a fleshlight.
You wouldn't be able to. It's
I mean,
really for you.
I could put my hand in there. I don't think it would be enjoyable for me.
I think you would just rip the silicone. They're not really made to be fisted.
That's tragic. There's probably fisting fleshlights.
What? No, I don't think there would be. I don't think that anyone would make silicone for you to just shove your hand into over and over and again. That doesn't make any sense.
Some people like fisting. I'm just saying. The Fleshlight Archives.
The Fleshlight Archives.
No!
That's the porn parody of Stormlight Archives?
No.
Coming soon to woodrocket.com. The Fleshlight Archives.
Oh my god.
Okay, well then where would you add sex?
Well, that is a great question, seeing as, like, it's mostly a dad and his sons.
I mean, Janala
is present. I mean, like,
she might be horny.
Maybe they fuck, yeah, but, like, they don't really seem that into each other, so they just they have, like...
I have had sex with a lot of women who did not seem that interested in me.
It's like a free use thing. Like, she, like, doesn't pay attention. She's like, yeah, get it over with. I'm not here for this.
You're mad at me for making Syl into a fleshlight, and you're like, it's a free use thing.
She's probably busy, and it's like, well, now I have a palanquin, so I don't have to do any work. You can just make it happen, right?
And we wonder why the show gets demonetized every week. All right. Enjoyed that, everybody. Thank you for being here. This has been the Nerdy Wordy Book Club.
You're welcome.
Somehow, we were panelists at Star Wars Celebration. Don't ask me
Disney.
how. Thanks, Disney. You the best. You the best I ever had. But not the best at making TV shows for your streaming platform. Mm-hmm. If you want to follow us, I already said that shit, so who gives a shit? This is the end of the show. Thank you so much to Arzu for continuing to run the
bingo
audiobook.
Oh, yeah.
And the bingo, but also the audiobook donations and stuff like that.
Arzu doing the Lord's work. Like, honestly, we appreciate it. We appreciate all of our mods. You guys rock.
Yes.
We could not do this without you.
But for Book Club, we're especially appreciative of the work that Arzu does.
Yeah, for organizing all of that.
Sadius and Dalinar have definitely been together. Oh, you think they were like gay lovers when they were in high school?
Oh,
in like college?
Oh, Johnny Coleman, thank you for that.
I dig that.
I see that.
That's why they miss Galavar so much. He was the like...
He was the third. Like, he was
the bridge, and they were the two...
The Eiffel Tower?
London Bridge.
London Bridge.
It's only at the Eiffel Tower if you hold hands up top.
Oh, otherwise it's London Bridge.
Yeah.
Okay. So Gavilar was like...
just so that you understand the difference. Basically, when you say London Bridge, you're implying that the person in the middle, that the two people on either side don't interact.
Right.
But when the Eiffel Tower, the men are bi. Yeah. But when they're not Eiffel Towering, because they're straight men. So straight men, London Bridge a person, and bi men, Eiffel Tower a person.
Happy for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the important distinction.
You know what? We're about to root for a lot of incest on Sunday, so we might as well start now.
Right. It's Incest Sundays.
Incest Sundays!
Let's go, Incest Sundays. We're back. Everybody's dating their brother.
House of the Dragon, folks.
They're already married.
George R. R. Martin.
See you guys on Monday for that reaction. Today, The Boys goes up at 4 p.m. The Delicious in Dungeon finale is going live on my other channel right now. If you want to watch that reaction. Tomorrow, Bridgerton 3x3 on the YouTube channel at 4 p.m. The next day, Boys Season 4 Episode 2. Monday, Bridgerton 3x4. Tuesday is going to be the... Wait. Monday is House of the Dragon Episode 1.
Yeah.
Tuesday is Bridgerton 3x4.
Yes.
Wednesday is Acolyte 1x4.
Yeah.
Then The Boys 4x3 is on Thursday. Then Boys 4x4 is on Friday. Then Bridgerton 3x5 is on Saturday. Then Bridgerton 3x6 is on Sunday. Then House of the Dragon 2x2 is on the 24th. Then Bridgerton 3x7 is on the 25th. Guys, we have a lot of reactions coming, so have fun with that. Go watch the Delicious in Dungeon reaction. And as always...
You're welcome.
Do something nerdy tonight.
Bye, guys.
Oh, One Piece is every Monday and Thursday, Me Monk. That's not stopping anytime
That's
soon.
a different channel.
Guys, it's too much.
We put out a lot of content.
But thank you for making us react to more chapters. That definitely helps our scheduling. Bye!
Hey, it helps getting audited, okay? Bye.
My wife's friend, Chris.